Hey guys, welcome to Little Blackbird 91. Yes, we are giving you guys a live talking about, well, Love Island. This is an opportunity for you guys to get on the live and give us your say. I'm back this week. Last week I was out for the count, but shout out to Sean holding it down. I might let him have to host it again. He was a wonderful host last time we had it. But if you want to join the conversation, I'm going to put a link in the chat. But let me just say this now: if there isn't a hater for the Nicolandrians, I must have passed away, and I will never pass away before my time in Jesus' name. Let me tell you this now. Listen, I'm not with the Nicolandrian bullcrap. I'm sorry. I know you want to ship it and believe it, but I don't believe in it. So Jesse Wu is absolutely right. I am the first and I am the last of the haters when it comes to Nicolandria. I'm not with it. I don't buy it. I don't ship it. Okay. All right. We got a chameleon out here changing colors of his skin. Okay. So I'm not with it at all. You feel me? Yeah. But listen, today's conversation, like I said, we're gonna have a panel with you guys, get you guys involved, and get your opinions on this particular episode as well. So we look forward to seeing you guys and your opinions. And if you want to join the live and say your piece, please do use a link in the chat. We would love to host you guys on this conversation to get us your thoughts on this week's worth of episodes. How have you found it? What was your thoughts? How did you see things? We'd love to be able to get your perspective as well. But let me talk about, I guess, one or two things before we even get the people on, because this week has been an interesting week. We know that Taylor obviously had to go. We know Taylor had to be kicked out because you guys voted for them to leave. I'm not mad at it. Again, like I said, I told you already. Me, I'm a hater as well. So as for Taylor, he was never seen that money according to me. You know what I mean? Just because I liked him slightly better than Nicolandria, don't mean I didn't want him out. I wanted him out. Okay, because I ain't forgotten what he did to Jeremiah, as I said to you guys before. So as far as I was concerned, break up that little family affair, ruin it, finish it, be done with it. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But we kind of spoke about this a little bit yesterday as well. So we kind of spoke about this a bit of it yesterday in terms of the relationships and some of the things that were happening in the episode. Previously about how the couplings was going, and I was thinking about this other day. I was thinking about how I can see you in MMTV. I see you. I was thinking about how obviously the Huda situations. I've seen a couple of videos go around actually because of the Huda situation now. Like there's a couple of things going around in terms of how people feel about it, and I'm like, yo, listen. Again, I've called out Huda from the very beginning. I've said she's abusive in the way she moved with Jeremiah. And now Chris is suffering. But Chris has to also be accountable like Jeremiah was. And he has to start putting his foot down and be boundary-led. Putting your foot down does not mean shouting, screaming, abusing your partner back. It means you actually having boundaries and letting the person know this is as far as they can go. And you're unwilling to allow certain things to go on the way it does. Okay. Now, what was crazy was Taylor trying to give, when Taylor was trying to give advice to giving advice to Nick about how to treat Nicolandria. I was cracking up, blood. I said, I know you not giving advice, boy. Didn't you not leave that girl alone? Did you not leave her alone, my brother? Did you not leave her alone? How you going to talk about what she needs, bro? So yeah, that was an interesting situation there as well. Someone said they got no choice but to give Amaya the 100K. Probably, you're actually right. Am I tripping? You're asking a question, are you tripping? You're probably not, but bro, listen, it happens like that. Okay. All right, it does happen like that. But anyway, listen, let me get NMTV on, and I'm sure a couple of people will join us in a few minutes as well. Yes, NMTV, how we doing?
Yo, what's up, Coach? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm alive and I'm well, bro. Talk to me, man. What's your thoughts, man?
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
No worries, talk, my brother.
Bro, honestly, this season, let's just put it in the bin. It's been terrible from the jump. Just the way it's been played out, the way the producers have got to influence it a lot. I'm so upset that they didn't have a movie night, but I think they didn't have it this time because of the bullying that guys were receiving online. I think if they actually showed the girls what Huda was saying about them, it could have really turned her experience really sour in the villa. So that's why I think they didn't do movie night. Why do you think they didn't do movie night?
You know what? I think they didn't do movie night because there was enough drama as it was. Number one. Number two, I think because some people had to leave before the time, and Honestly, I just think they weren't really. This season has just been a doo-doo show. It's just been a doo-doo show from the beginning. So I guess that was something that got sacrificed. And now I'm like, what? There's actually no point of the movie. Like if they were going to do the movie night, that would have to be after Casa. But even Casa got changed. Even
Yeah.
Casa got changed. So you know what I mean? So it was just like, because the whole point of Casa is that when they do what they do in the dirt in Casa, when they come back, they don't tell the people what they did. So when they come back, we got movie night. We didn't have that because they brought the people back. So there was no snitch. There was snitching was happening already. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
but
probably why as well.
yeah, what were you on the topic of, you were talking about Huda?
Yeah, I was just talking about Huda and just obviously her behavior with Chris as well. What's your thoughts on that?
I think Huda's pretty unstable, to be honest. Like, just as an individual. And I feel like being on this dating show where you have to really show your personality within like 5 weeks and get into a relationship that would work on the outside. I feel like she kind of showed her true colors pretty much in both, even in all her three relationships with Jeremiah. I forget the other guy, and Chris. They kind of had similar things to say that about her and her character. Specifically the dominant thing, and she also doubles down on it as well, and seems like she's not willing to change about that. What are your thoughts on that? Because I think
Yeah.
it seems
Mm.
like someone has told her about it before and she knows it, and she still doubled down it
Mm.
a lot. Because even that specific moment on the balcony, when even I don't think he was being disrespectful, he was just being like shut, you're doing too much right now. That was the kind of shut up he gave her, and she was trying to like put him in his place in front of everyone. What did you think about that?
Yeah, no, I've seen it before. You know, when sometimes what happens is you have to understand if you don't set a tone for somebody, they will continue to do certain things. You have to let some people know that you're just not the one. It's just that simple. And letting people know that you're not the one doesn't mean you have to scream, shout, cuss them out. It is the tone, it is the words you choose, and it is the direction you take the conversation. So Chris is allowed for this because he's not because he's been understanding, but he's been understanding to a point where he did not enforce boundaries. So I can still say, I care about you, I appreciate you, I want to understand where you're coming from, but I'm also going to let you know, listen, when you talk this way, this you're now on a disrespect path, and I don't work with it. I want to let you know I don't do those things. Like it's a very and so when you don't let someone know that, what tends to happen is that people who have got those boundary issues, she's somebody who has boundary issues. She will cross them, and she will continually cross them. So if you don't give her that boundary, she will continually go over it, and that's what we saw. So you know when she said what she said and the balcony, that's why him saying shut up was like I was like, bro, we just got to tell her the truth. You're not feeling the way she's talking to you, bro. You know,
Yeah.
you're not feeling it. Do you know what I mean? Go for it.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like he had several opportunities to put his boundaries in place and he didn't do it. I think because he's not really attracted to her, because or he is just because I mean she's also very pretty and he's want to go with the flow, but I don't think he's attracted to her that much, because when he first came in he was all about Shelly, and then Huda kind of was interested in getting to know her, and he was like, okay, let's just do it. Because I feel like if the fact that he's not willing to correct her behavior shows that he sees this not a long-term thing. And I also feel like she showed all her cards in Jeremiah's relationship, that him choosing to kind of get to know her past this is kind of like a red flag in my opinion, because why would you want to deal with all of that even though she hasn't had time to correct already, so she's still the same person. So I feel like he's also going through the motions and he's not really seeing a future with Huda.
Definitely understand that. Welcome, Sean. Hope you're doing good, Captain.
What's going on, brother?
That's good, man. I should have left
So,
this hosting thing to you, bro.
No. You got it.
Don't be running from your destiny, sir.
I'm running, brother. They stressed me out last week.
You handled it with grace. we're just quickly just talking about, I guess, Huda's situation, obviously, with Chris. And once kind of get your perspective, obviously, we've seen the growth of their relationship, right? We've seen her with Jeremiah. It wasn't going, it started off with a bang, went sour quickly, revamp, and then, literally the redemption arc by the show. And then now we're seeing her with Chris, right? She's had to fight a little bit, to get him from Shelley. And now it seems like, from a perspective, the insecurities are kind of slipping a little bit, and she's not necessarily been explosive, but there is some, you can see the tendencies of control, and her also not being well versed to take criticism. What's your thoughts, though, in that respect? Do you see that well? Is there some deeper aspect that you're seeing with her, or some ideas that you kind of see checking from her perspective?
Yeah, I'm of two minds when it comes to her. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely a part of me that empathizes with her a little bit, only because I think there's so much going on in such a compressed time. And I think she's being who she is. I'll say that. But I think this kind of environment makes you expedite whoever your normal person. It makes you expedite the way you move in relationships. And it also, if you're already somebody that's is a crash out, you're going to be a ultra crash out, and I think, like, we can see her flaws and we can, like, kind of dissect what we see is happening, but we have the benefit that she doesn't, is what I'm trying to say. And that's for everybody on this show, really, because we're seeing things they're not. We're able to kind of, like, be removed from it because we're not in it. And I just feel like too many people are, like, they're taking this too personal, too serious. And I know we didn't get there, but I'd say the same with her as I do with Clarke and Taylor. People are taking this too personally. This isn't your chance to exact your revenge for somebody that did a little something like that person did to you. So if you had a Huda in your life, now you want to get revenge on a Huda, or if you had a Jeremiah in your life, you want to co-sign the things that Huda did to, you know what I mean? Like, I think we just all need to take a collective deep breath and just relax a little bit. And again, it doesn't mean she's not problematic. I think sometimes people just have a funny way of, like, if you don't say exactly what you say, what they want you to say, like, if I don't say Huda's bad, she's abusive, she needs to stop, she needs to learn better behavior. Okay, we get it. That's not new information. Like, she's called Jeremiah the B word. Like, yeah, that's wrong. You shouldn't be cursing people out. But can we get, like, past a layer beyond that and then say, hey, before we just totally nail her to the cross, how about we look at the big picture here? And I think Chris has some accountability to take too, because Chris is not communicating because he has an end game, whatever that is, whether he wants emotional validation from her, whether he's really looking for a relationship with her, or if he just wants a place to lay down because he really don't have a place to go to. He told us he don't have nowhere to live because he's banking on whatever happens overseas with his football game. So she gave him a chance. Again, it was a small window when she asked him previously, like, hey, is there something you think I need to work on? And the brother said, give me a kiss. You know what I'm saying? Like, what game are you playing? Like, you've seen your experiences with her over this window of time. And for you to tell her, oh, give me a kiss, he's playing a game. And now when you play a game with somebody like her, this is what happens, because you're validating. Again, she's responsible for being herself. She's responsible for her behavior, 100%. But in a relationship, things don't happen in a vacuum. So when you validate her and just say, oh, baby, you're good, give me a kiss, and then you want to come back 2 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, however many hours later, and now you want to tell her, hey, I got a problem with you. Just don't expect, like, that to be met with you had a chance to do it the right way when she asked you. Now you want to kind of now you decided to put your foot down. I just think the timing is off. Again, I do think Chris does a good job in communicating with her and remaining calm. I got to give him kudos and credits for that, because it could not be me. And I think I'm a relatively cool person for the most part, but just certain things agitate me, and people talking to me sideways, somebody cutting me off when I'm trying to have a conversation. It's going to like grind my gears. That was long-winded, but that's kind of like my overall thoughts.
I just had a question, right? Why do you think she is that combative? Because it seems like she's also not, let's say, she doesn't shy away from confrontation as well. Why do you think she has those traits?
I don't know. I'll leave that to Kojo in terms of the why. I don't know what the why is. I do know that people that I've seen act like that, it comes from, a need to control, insecurities. I see, aesthetically, yes, Huda has a nice body. She's attractive. Her personality and the things that she's done make her less attractive to me, but visually, she's an attractive girl. And I think on the outset, people would see someone like her and think that they would be confident, would be secure. But when I see her lashing out, I see insecurity. I see her wanting to control because she's hurt. So she lashes out to hurt you first before you can hurt her. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know enough about that. But to me, like, I think when people do that, it's like, I want to get you before you get me. So I'm going to tell you everything you're doing so that you can kind of leave me alone and I could be the one pulling the strings.
Listen, I definitely hear you. You know what I mean? Me personally, I think Huda should have been off the show a long time ago. I mean, the moment she called Jeremiah out of his name, she should have been off the show. The moment she was calling the girls out of their name, she should have been off the show. The show has made an exception for her behavior, which I think is actually on the verge of abusive. And she should have been off the show. They let it go on, and they allowed her to continue because, again, she makes good TV. Also, because sometimes as well, I'm gonna be honest with you, we don't take the fact that men can get abused. Sometimes we take it a bit too lightly. You know what I mean? And it's confounded by the fact that the way that people try to highlight Jeremiah's behavior and put it on the same equation as her, and they never were on the same level. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like with Huda, they've given her a redemption arc. And we can talk about if it's racist or not. I don't know if you want to call it that. Again, I think they gave Serena a redemption arc last season. I've always said this. Last season they gave Serena a redemption arc. Okay, and people were rooting for her, calling it, she just having a moment, and I called that abusive too. I think it's a case of, like I said, when these ladies crash out the way they do, the show kind of covers for them a little bit, and I guess they might feel like it's understandable because, again, it's a high pressure stakes environment where you're seeing your partner with someone else. It's not easy to kind of stay collected. I get that. But with Huda, from that particular place, I think, Huda has some deep insecurities. You know what I mean? Like the fear of abandonment, the fear of betrayal, the fear of being rejected. It plays a massive role for her. And I just feel like she just needs to heal some of those parts of her because it leads her into relationships way too quickly, but it also leads her into situations like I said, when she wanted to hold the fact that she was a mother. Now, look, now everyone knows your mother, baby. You know what I mean? Like, babe, but you were trying to hold that in. It's like, at the end of the day, people were going to find out you're on a national television show and people were going to find out, right? So a lot of that stuff just really was political and manipulative a little bit as well. And of course, there were obviously other factors in there, right? It's what we call a perfect storm because she didn't do this all on her own. I'm not just talking about Jeremiah. I'm talking about the fact that the other islanders actually contributed towards the madness and they need to be accountable. People like Ace and Nick, specifically Nick, is a shiny snake. that is glaring you. This is why I don't like Nick. That's why I don't like Nick at all. And the fact that you guys ship Nick for Olandria is crazy work. I don't care about 100K, but y'all don't care about Olandria. You tell me this. When someone can snake somebody, and he snaked both men and women, by the way, he doesn't care who it is, he snakes them. When he can look in Huda's face and tell her, like, hey, yes, and then turn around and vote for her. And don't get interested. Even though he comes out after and says, yes, I voted for you, it's still snakish because he sits in your face and tells you how wonderful and amazing you can be and then goes out and votes for you. You know what I mean? Like, that man hates you. And the fact that Huda keeps going back to him for advice was also stupid too. Like, he hates you. You know what I'm saying, Chu? And then he did the exact same thing to Jeremiah as well when he betrayed him too. So we for me personally, Nick, betrayer, Ace, manipulator. Right, and he contributed towards the firing of the situation by talking about how Jeremiah was love bombing her and and then making her question her own reality because that was not ever happening. You know what I'm saying, Chu? So they've actually contributed towards the spiraling of Huda. I'm not giving her a pass. I'm merely stating that there was a perfect storm of events that were happening within the household that also contributed towards that. She's still, to me, abusive. But what I'm saying to you is there was a perfect storm that happened in that place. The boys got involved and contributed. That's why Taylor 2's not seeing that money, because he participated with a group of men and decided to try and manipulate her by trying to insert seeds of doubt between her and Jeremiah, which contributed towards more of the crash outs. Right? They try to gaslight Jeremiah too with the Huda situation. Right? So that's why for me, people, I didn't care if they got kicked out. I did care, but I didn't care. Him and Clarke got kicked out at the end. And the reason why people ask me why I got the smoke for Olandria, because I don't like people that go and start whispering in people's ears, talking about how someone could be bad, and they know they haven't got no evidence for them being bad. They got none. They don't speak to that person, they don't talk to that person, and they have evidence that they could be a bad person. For me, that's nasty work. I don't like that kind of thing. You're sowing seeds of discord and you're sowing seeds of discontent, and there was no need. And then trying to slip it behind, oh, maybe America saw something. America didn't see nothing, baby. You need to focus on your own connection, which was also trash, and you need to open your eyes. But you didn't. You wanted to talk to Huda and slip in the fact that Jeremiah's probably doing this, he's probably doing that. And I said, why is she doing that? And I kept on pointing out on every episode she was doing it. That's why, too, I don't want to see her see the money either. Okay? My position here is anybody that was against Jeremiah, she'll fall down. Okay? All right, you're gonna speak against Jeremiah, you need to fall down. That's my position. You know what I mean? Just my personal vendettas out here. So Jesse Wu, I know you know you're gonna hear from your people. Them, I am the biggest hater of Nicolandrians. Okay, the first and the last. They will not be seen at 100K piece for me. Okay, definitely not. Yes. Anybody want to ask?
Maybe I should have asked you to let it go a little bit. Good God. I mean, I want to support Jeremiah. He seems like a decent guy, but we do have to collectively let it go. And listen, I guess I respect anybody, but I'll tell you this. I know a lot of people say, I'm not telling my vote. Well, I voted for Ace and Shelley because if I'm thinking about the show is about organic love, who seems to, have the longest shot, or the best shot on the outside. And it's going to be Ace and Shelley for me. And I think they've worked on it. Maybe they're scamming, maybe they're not. I don't care. I want to support them. So I feel like this whole Huda Chris thing, yeah, Huda could have been she could have been gone. And Seaway, I welcome up. I've been on her neck about, Huda. And I'm no Huda supporter. I'm no Huda rat at all. But I think that sometimes you do have to sit back and you kind of just have to get out your feelings a little bit and look at the situation for what it is. And people like Huda don't just get brought, they don't come up in a vacuum. If there was no Chris, if there was no Jeremiah, if there was nobody to pursue her, she would be on an island by herself and eventually kicked off. But there are men, we want to talk about, I talk about accountability for us men. If the men don't tolerate the behavior, then she won't exist. If Chris had done his big one and held her accountable and had the conversation when he had the chance to, she would have had to, handle it differently. If Jeremiah would have stood on business, despite you know, his attempts, he still never stood on business when it came to her, then we would have had a, we would have had some different outcomes. Again, Huda's responsible for her behavior, her disrespect, the way she talks, the way she handles information, all bad. But we as men also have to bear some accountability for tolerating her.
I was gonna ask you guys a question. Did you clock how Nick told Taylor before he left? Yeah, we're brothers inside and outside the villa, and that's how our bond is. But he told Sierra, yeah, our connection is just an inside the villa situation.
And then clock it until you said it. What you highlighting? What are you thinking of?
Nah, it just surprised me. Like, I feel like once his situation with Sierra started fizzling out and she left the villa, and how he's also willing to just continue with his experience, it kind of showed like he wasn't really into her. And even on the date we saw, when he asked her, "Oh, so what are we?" And then she was like, "Yeah, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend." And then his reaction after was like just a big sigh of relief. Yeah, he didn't really like her like that, it seemed, and I was just pretty surprised about that.
Fair point. I definitely hear you on that. I mean, me. My thoughts was Nick. You know what I'm saying? Chew. He's the greatest betrayer there is has ever lived. You know what I mean? If you thought Ace was bad, Nick is the Thanos of this island. Seaway, what's your thoughts? Talking about Chris and Huda. But I want to love to know your thoughts on them.
Did you go distant, or is it just my computer, my phone?
It might be your phone. I don't know. But I was asked about Chris and Huda. Your thoughts on them?
I think it's a classic case of poor communication. I actually think their whole dialogue can be broken down very simply in how, like, but if you don't communicate them, it's just not going to make sense. And I personally feel like Huda definitely could have explained herself better because she had more context than Chris had. She had all the context as to kind of why she was moving that way and things like that. But I think Huda, at her age and stage and kind of just her life experience, I don't think she has a strong grasp on why she does the things that she does. I think she's just trying to move to protect. She's moving like in some bit of survival protection mode. And so, although from the outside we're like, dang, this is such an easy thing to explain, when you don't fully understand yourself and what you're feeling, you can't explain it. I think Chris also, you know, he was darned if he did, darned if he didn't. You know, he definitely could have like tried to, you know, communicate things with Huda earlier, but he also probably didn't want to shake the table because he probably could tell that she wasn't going to receive it well. And so I don't know, it's kind of hard. I definitely feel like, you know, if they were able to communicate, the issue that Chris has is very easy to understand, or at least to resolve, I should say. But I do think it's unfortunate that they couldn't talk about it. I definitely think Amaya tried to help, and I thought that was good for her. That was good that she tried that. That's kind of my thoughts.
No, I definitely hear that. Yeah, I think their situation can be resolved, and I think their situation can be, if they just focus on actually trying to understand each other a bit more, there could have been more understanding between the two of them. So I'm not against that at all. I definitely hear you on that perspective as well. We were just talking obviously about who we wanted to vote for to win as well. Siway, who are we looking to vote for, Siway, to win?
I didn't cast my vote. Do I still have time for this next vote? I think I do.
Nope. I reminded you last night. You still didn't do it?
No, I had too much going on. Did I miss it? I don't really care.
Yeah,
anyway.
there's no vote tonight,
Jeez,
baby girl.
goodness.
This was last night. You had to. Remember, I told you had till 12:30.
Well, my vote didn't count last time, so whatever y'all say at this point.
Who would you vote
I
for?
would have voted for? Yeah, it would have been Brian and Amaya. I mean, after Brian and Amaya, I guess it would have been Ace and Shelly, but I don't like awarding people who lack accountability. I think lacking of accountability is kind of my pet peeve. And so they both kind of irk me, but that doesn't mean that I do agree with, I heard what Sean said. I do think they have one of the stronger couples. And so I'm not mad at the Ace and Shelly pick. It's just, I'm just gonna go ahead and do Brian and Amaya. The only selections that actually piss me off is Iris and Pepe and the Nicolandria bullcrap. I mean, that is the only two things that really make me mad. Outside of that, do what you do.
Yeah, I have a problem if I need Pepe the pipe layer and Iris. I need them out my villa. And or Huda and Chris. It doesn't matter, but I'm sorry. They gotta go. They cannot be in the final three. I mean, if I had to choose, I would say let Pepe the pipe layer stay around. But Huda, woulda, shoulda needs to be gone. I'm sorry. It's not. There's nothing. There's not even going to be an inkling of anything that comes out of that relationship outside of Chris laying on her couch. That's nothing that's going to come out of that. And that's if he makes it this far. I mean, that far? Did you even see his face? Did you see his face?
Yeah, I saw his face, and he looked very overwhelmed. He definitely looks overwhelmed. My thing is, Huda and Pepe, at least, I don't have a problem with those two people because they at least tried to do the show authentically. I have a problem, and Iris, I'm not saying she didn't try to do the show authentically. She just gives us nothing, and I just don't want to reward nothing. And so that's why I'm a little torn, because at least Pepe himself tried to do the show.
What's he doing? Pepe is hunching. He ain't trying to do no show.
But he's giving everybody a fair shot.
Who's everybody? All the two blondes that were in distress?
Yeah, all the blondes, yeah.
Just the two,
whatever.
poor Grayson.
Well, look, back to what I said. Iris and Pepe can go. And, yeah. Too bad, though. I mean, I would have liked to see, some type of resolution to Chris and Huda's discussion, but after that being the last thing that we seen before we voted, I think the producers tried to cook them on purpose. So, yeah.
Well, listen, Chris told us, what did he say during Stand on Business? He said, I don't have to be here. Good. You can go. Pack it up. It's time to get down to business. I'm ready for it to be over. I'm tired.
Chris said, my body, my temple. He don't want his body used and abused, okay?
Look, I mean, I got to appreciate him for, at the very least, telling her, hey, I don't want to be your secret lover.
Yeah, look, you got to love somebody who value themselves, okay? Chris says, I have value.
He said, I know my worth. You ain't going to be, putting that thing on me underneath the covers, but you can't give me a kiss on the cheek during the daytime.
He don't like that.
Poor man.
Honestly, all these couples suck, Kojo, Sean, and I can't read that. They all kind of suck.
It's sad. They haven't. This season was just overproduced. I think the castmates were too aware of what's happening, and I don't know. Maybe bombshells need to come a little bit earlier, and that didn't happen. listen, Taylor needs to be accountable for the way that he did kind of, drag Alondria along. I'm not going to say that he didn't drag her a little bit along as well, because, he wasn't attracted to her and he didn't tell her that truth. So he did drag her along and he has to be accountable for that. That's why I said he ain't seen 100K either. But, in that space too, I think they could have introduced some bombshells earlier. I don't know what was going on. Like, the show just seemed to be, it's like reading a novel and the pacing's all off, or watching a film and the pacing's off. It's like 1 minute you're here, the next minute you're at the end of the film. And you're like, wait, what? Like, the ones there, like, you're like, oh, damn. It's ended too soon almost, but not in a good way. Or it's taken too long. And I feel like that's what happened with the season. It was just the pacing was just slightly off with everything. They needed to have, and it felt like also the show was listening to the outside world and then feeding them, so that it's like the next day it felt like a reality TV in a Black Mirror episode. Like, it's like you guys were doing live TV, reality TV. Like, you were influencing what was happening in the house by what was happening outside. And I didn't like that. I think that was problematic, and I don't think it works, because it creates a very nasty schism for the people inside the show who are now becoming too much aware of what's happening outside, and they can't be themselves. So I hope next season they take that stuff out of there as well and don't do that. And
why do you guys sorry,
no, go for it.
Why do you guys think Ace and Shelly haven't been on a date yet? Because they've been an OG couple.
That's a good question. Well, why do you think the guys haven't been on a date yet? Yes,
I mean, I think the producers pick and choose kind of, and I think they have, my hunch on it is kind of what you were just alluding to. I don't think the producers really like the fact that Ace was producing the show. So much so that they had to change so many things to get Ace to stop producing the show. Perhaps they don't want to reward that, but I think, to your point, having America chime in on so many things honestly had them paranoid. Honestly, because it's so crazy, if we can go back in time and America didn't break Huda and Jeremiah up and then cause all that paranoia, I honestly feel like things probably would have played out a little better. Would Huda and Jeremiah probably still broken up? Possibly, but I don't know if it would have went down like that. I think you can't feed paranoid people more paranoia in an enclosed space. And also, I don't think America really realizes these people are in a dignified jail. They're just in a jail that looks nice. They have no phones, no books, no outside TV, no nothing. That is actually a mental experiment. All they have is each other to talk to. And then you have America chiming in, causing paranoia. Like, I think it kind of F with the show, on top of the fact that Ace was producing the show. And then once he realized that we all clocked that he was producing the show, now him and Shelly are trying to stop producing the show, but it's kind of like it's too late. I don't know. That's my thought.
No, see, I think that's a great point you made there, and to just from a mental health perspective too, I don't think it was wise for the show to it felt, remember I told you, I think I said it in an episode, like, it felt like they exposed them to things they shouldn't have been exposing them to when they started talking and saying, America said this, America said that. And I was like, I've never seen Love Island. Never. In all of my 17 seasons in the UK version, or 12, I don't know how many seasons they've done, I don't know how many done, whatever. I've never heard them say, well, the British public think this, or the British public, they don't ever say that. So the fact that they were producing it this way and hearing the people say, America thinks this, America thinks that, I was like, this is very unique. And I've never seen this actually happen, which means there has been interference. Some level of interference has happened, because on all these seasons, normally people's behavior is very conscientious over the seasons as it goes along, right? Any show you watch, people know now, they know the show, they pretend to play in a certain way. Yeah, that's normal. But it's like, when people start breaking that 4-4, almost in the sense of saying America thinks this, America thinks that, that tells me producers got involved and something else has happened that's very different to what they usually do. Usually they push people, but in this way, it's like they fed them information. And I think that is a very scary thing, because like you said, Seaway, people don't have their phones on them. They don't have their family on them, their family around them. They don't have their friends with them. You are now literally in a you could potentially be in an abusive relationship with the producers. No, I just want to be honest with you. Like, you are literally potentially getting gaslit by the producer. So imagine, that's why I said I didn't like what the castmates were doing with the Huda situation, because it felt like that. And the way they produced it was like America said Huda and Jeremiah shouldn't be together. We're going to force them apart. And the castmates were going to use them as a proper tool to force them apart. And that also created a spiral for Huda too. I'm not saying that she's, innocent in that respect, but I can only imagine mentally how this will affect you, thinking, now, did Jeremiah do something? Because actually, America's saying it, and they're feeding us information that America's saying it. Because, you know what I mean? So that was my only kind of thing as
For
well,
sure.
It
Yeah,
threw
I
everything
agree.
off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. Even with this like kind of arc that they've given Amaya, it's so disingenuous. We can see how so many people in the villa started treating her differently after they figured out she was a favorite. How all the boys all of a sudden were interested in her and wanted to put all their eggs in her basket. I just feel like Amaya was always a fan favorite, but I feel like they pushed it now to an extreme. So I just feel like if she also wins, it will kind of be like producer tampering as well, because like they've given her this generational run in these last few episodes, I feel.
Yeah, that's another good point. That is an excellent point because Amaya was treated literally like a ugly duckling, and then as soon as they heard that America liked her, everybody had seen dollar signs and they treated her completely different. And I think that really just needs to be looked at because we'll never know now, is Brian being sincere or does he want to win the money? We'll never know. Hell, maybe he don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But that's a problem that we don't know.
Brian,
America
honestly, I think Brian's seeing the cash. I feel like Kojo made a good point. I think in the first few episodes when he talked about his body language and how he is around Amaya, it's his body language is very stiff and rigid. It's not very like open and flowy, I feel like, but it kind of changed when they went to the hideaway. But I feel like that's just a given, like it would change in that scenario. But I don't know. I just feel like he's giving way less than she is investing at this moment in time. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I
Do I
get
Oh,
just
that,
jump in when
but
I
Natty.
have
he does
something to
seem like
say?
a gangster.
Go for it, Natty. You want to jump in? Go for it.
Yes. I'm sorry. This is my first time. I'm so nervous. I wanted to add to what he said about Brian because me and my friends we discussed this all day back and forth at each other. And I feel like it's hard to judge Brian because even though he did like he picked up for her during that challenge, he just it's not feeling real. It just feels like it's convenient. And it's hard to kind of determine if he is genuinely interested in her or if it's because now he sees how we view her, why he's kind of hitching his wagon to hers. But there's something there that I'm just not, there's something that's not completely right with that connection there. That's how I feel. It just something about it is just off. Even though I don't know what exactly it is, I'm not convinced. Even though I love Amaya and that's who I voted for, I feel like if she wins, he would have benefited out of it. That's my take on that. I don't trust him completely.
Yeah, I feel like she's also when they're in their interactions, she's always talking and she doesn't give him a lot of opportunities to express how he's feeling or to plan anything that they're gonna do outside the villa. She's always trying to do it for them. And yeah, I don't know how Brian takes that. I feel like it looks like he's riding the wave, but I would like to see him provide more input and look more invested in life outside the villa, but it doesn't look like it at this moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, they put a target on her back, and I didn't really think about it until Siwe said it and the TV, and Natty's gonna. I realized that they did put a target on Amaya's back, and I don't know, have they revealed? I'm trying to think of if they've ever done that before. Most favorite, least favorite. I mean, I haven't been paying enough attention. That's maybe why I've missed it in previous seasons. Had they said that before? Like let them know who the audience thinks is the most favorite, least favorite. Have they ever done that before? Is that something new?
I
I'm
think
trying
they
to think last
usually
season.
I think they usually do a voting system in terms of favorite, but they don't do it based on like characteristics. So I think they did it based on personality types, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like
I
who's
don't know.
most genuine and things like that. But they usually do votings for sure.
Okay. Okay. UK always does it. Okay, I don't remember them. I mustn't be paying attention when they do it. You know what I'm saying, Chi? Or you know what I mean? So maybe I'm not paying attention. Well, I don't know. What is your thoughts, Sean? You know, to Amaya Papaya being, you know, they put her. I feel like they put a bit of a target on her back. Maybe it's just because this season's been so orchestrated. It feels like they put a target on her back. What's your thoughts?
Who put a target on her back?
I feel like they put a target on her back in terms of the fact, not like let's to be targeted in a bad way, but like now it's like we have to check every person coming towards her because she's now the favorite in a sense.
I don't know. I don't necessarily feel that way. I mean, I think she's definitely America's choice. You know, she's the you know, the people of Amaya. But I don't know about that so much. You know, but you know, I don't have an opinion enough to say I disagree. But I just definitely don't feel like there's a target on her that's attached her to, you know, that has to do with anybody else particularly.
Have you noticed like an increase also in like the amount of like clips they show us of Amaya, like the so many one-liners they want to show us about what Amaya is saying, especially after that? I've noticed it's just a big shift. I don't know if they were doing that in the beginning. Have you guys noticed that?
That's true. That's true. With her singing randomly and all of that. That's true.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary, actually.
I hear it. I mean, hey, I guess obviously that's what this season is. It's. I mean, I guess they've always had a storyline, right? But I guess this season it just feels a bit too obvious. There's a storyline going on. You know, and you know, I think this season also has been one of the biggest seasons ever, actually, in terms of viewership, because last season was the catapult. But this season, you know, I think Amaya's got 2 million followers on TikTok already. You know, Jalen came out 1.7. Jeremiah's now approaching 2 million himself. This is the biggest season. Huda's got how many already?
2 million.
Million
I think she already had a big following, but she went up. I think she gained 1 million followers, something like that. Something crazy.
Bruh.
She had the biggest increase. The last, I don't know, you know, it could be changing, but of all the cast members, she had the biggest increase, and I think that was like as of like the end of last week.
Go for it, Sean. You can add on there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get the Amaya lore. I do like her. I like that, you know, she gave some great advice to Chris and to Huda. I like that she was right down the middle, you know, so respect to her. You know, she did a good job in validating Chris's feelings, you know, how he felt like he wasn't being heard and that, you know, he was on the attack from Huda. And then she, you know, flipped it to say, hey, listen to, you know, I think you should talk to her, tell her how you feel, you know, give her another chance. And then, you know, went back to Huda to, you know, give her some feedback too. And, you know, also validated her in a way. Hey, I know this isn't what you're trying to do. You know, she gave her a hug. I think like that is the best way to give somebody constructive feedback. You know, sometimes I think we want to beat people in the head, but if you want the person to really receive it, and you also don't want them walking away wanting to jump off a bridge, you know what I'm saying? Especially in Huda's, in her, instance, it's like she already is starting to, internalize it and say, oh, shoot, it is me. She does have a level of self-awareness where I just feel like that's why I'm like, Huda and Chris need to get off my villa, because Huda can't be in a relationship right now. She got to unpack her issues and deal with her stuff. I do think, if I had a second tier under who I would want to support outside of Ace and Shelly, I think it's Amaya. Amaya and Brian. Now, is it fully genuine? I don't know. But I do know that Brian likes her. because before she like fully blew up and everybody knew America was all for her, when they were on the Stand Your Business, and he was like, hey, I get her, she's Latina, you know, that's something that we do culturally, you know what I mean? Like, this was before there was a couple, before there was anything. He was the only person to really speak out on her behalf. And to me, when especially a girl like her, like when a man sees her, that's important. And when he sees her for who she is and still likes her and wants to explore her, and you notice even this time he's talked to her and he was like, I don't want you to doubt yourself. I want you to be you and not keep questioning yourself. I think that's so important. You know, I think that's so important that you like the person that you're with. We talk about that all the time. And I do think, hey, I could be wrong. From what I see, I think he genuinely likes her. And I think that is super important. And I think, yeah, that could give them, you know, a shot at this being something more.
I have a question about that because just as a woman, we typically know when like a man is interested in us, right? Before coming back to the villa, they were in the whole Casa Amor experience, and he was latched on to Andrina. How come he wasn't really even attempting to talk to her from back then? So it's like, that's why I'm kind of skeptical, because him defending her, an argument against that was, well, she's from similar culture as him. So he was really defending their culture as a whole. And he really didn't really approach her, except that it was after the darn results, which is what for me is making it very
Exactly.
suspicious, because he didn't even approach her during that experience. He was just stuck to one person. So that's why I'm kind of not sure. I'm just not sure.
Hmm. Yeah, Kojo, I think even though, yeah, you're not Team Ace, and especially what he did to Jeremiah, it was nasty work for sure. But don't you think, in terms of him playing the game and also having his connection as well, you wouldn't vote for him just for that, like getting out his competition and him also having a girl he can go home with? You wouldn't vote for him because of that?
He ain't getting my vote. If I could vote, he ain't getting none of my vote.
Yeah.
It's the way you do it. It's the way you do it. There's gameplay where you know there's gameplay, but you didn't even make it known that you actually wanted Huda. So then it's like that's the sly behavior. So that's why I didn't like it. But you know, listen, Nick, I think Ace and Shelly are pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like them. I just don't see it. Like, see, with Cordell and Serena, I actually saw it. I saw a bit more of it. I just didn't like the fact she treated him the way she treated him. But with Ace and Shelly, I see two people that potentially could make it work, but they have a power struggle every single time. Like, either one of them saying, "You're not going to get one over me," and it makes it hard because they don't actually, It doesn't feel like they're always gelling, you know, as well. So, but it might be the editing and the way they're showing it, but you know, I think in this aspect, you know, I want to see more from them, and I think the show maybe is curating so they don't look that way. It just feel like every single time that when they're talking, it just feels like a little bit of a disconnect, just a little bit, you know. I mean, they look good together. They should have been together,
Yeah.
but again, you know, it was something that for me, wasn't really on point.
How much does editing, you know how when you see the couples, you see how all of us could kind of tell where is like the energy is, when there's chemistry there, when there isn't, how much producing can manufacture that? Something between them is often, I agree with you, where if they get on the same page, it might work, but something is just misaligned. So I feel like even with all the producing and the editing, something is still not right there. And it looks like most of us is picking it up, because you can't really fake that. That's what I would say to add to what you just said.
Welcome to the panel, Tamara. What's your thoughts? We're just talking about Ace and Shelly. What's your thoughts on this?
Hi. With Ace and Shelly, like I feel like there's a genuine connection there, but I think what the issue is that they're like both like a little, it's kind of like an ego battle between them. Like they both kind of struggle. It's like a power struggle between them. So I really feel like in the real world, they're like one big argument away from like breaking up. Like just even on the show, like the whole back and forth about being like closed off and stuff like that. Like I feel like it would be really hard for them to come to common ground because they both kind of don't want to compromise on what they want. So it's not that there's not a genuine connection there, but I think there's just too much ego involved, and it would make it they would butt heads. But I also feel like they don't feel 100% safe to be like super vulnerable. So there's a level of like emotional depth that's just like not present in their connection. So they would really have to like let their walls down and just like lower that ego for it to work, which uh, I don't see Ace doing. No shade. I don't see it.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Totally get it. I definitely hear you on that particular aspect as well. And I think with Ace and Shelly, they, like I said, they could have been a forerunner. I think Ace messed up the game. I think Ace messed up the game because at the beginning they had a perfect story. Ace is kind of not trying to give in too early. Shelly's got her triangle, and then Ace will come back, and then they get together again. But when Ace started quarterbacking the whole show, and then went to choose Amaya for no apparent reason, because clearly and truly she was doing too much, he felt like, but didn't. I was like, okay, wait, hold on a minute. That's a shame, you know. Um, it would have been interesting to kind of see, in that particular aspect. So, intrigued because this show had a potential, and Ace and Shelley would have been my forerunner at the beginning, but all the shenanigans after this, yeah, it put a dampener on their speciality. They should have been the forerunners for the show with their wit, their jokes, their games, the way they move, but too much of the games between themselves, like you said, Tamara, the ego as well. So definitely hearing that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like Ace playing the mind games when he chose Amaya, that was just like I really feel like he, like with Shelly, you could tell in the real world, like Shelly is the type of person who has like a roster. So I feel like going into a show like this is like natural for her in a way. So even though she wanted Ace, she likes to be chased. So when he chose Amaya, like she wasn't gonna chase after him. And I think that he kind of knows that she's like that, and he kind of wanted to see her show more interest or more initiative first before he put her as like his number one. And when he did that with Amaya, it was like a way of saying like, "Oh, what's your reaction? Like, are you gonna get jealous?" And it didn't work. And so then he realized, okay, like I just have to take the risk and go for it. But that definitely messed up their connection because it was just also him just meddling like with like playing producer for the show. Like it just put a bad taste in people's mouths. So I also feel like even though they have the most genuine connection, I feel like I can't really even vote for them and let them win just because of like his behavior. um because it's a turn off.
Hmm. Yes, Sean, you want to say something?
I don't know. I heard a perspective and it kind of shifted me a little bit around, and I'm new to the Love Island family. This is my first season really fully being engaged with it. But, my overall synopsis of the show is this is different than some of the other shows that we watch because there is a strategic element to it. It's almost like Big Brother, Survivor, mixed with, Love is Blind. You got like so many different things going on. So you do need to play the game a little bit. You do need to maneuver people out of the way. Do I like what he did to Jeremiah? No, I don't. But when I think about it, like if $100,000 is on the line, am I going to, if I would put myself in an environment to be in a show like that, might I move somebody around? I might. You know, so I had to kind of just sit back and be like, as much as I want to be mad at him, and as much as he's a hater, you know, in that capacity, but he's also strategically playing the game. So I just have to respect it a little bit too. And you know, I think Shelly tried to expand her options and tried to keep things going. But I think I when I look at them, you know, I think that they genuinely, I see a genuine like for each other. Am I being scammed? Maybe I am. But I do feel like they like each other. When you kind of see his smile when he talks to her, you know, when they were just sitting down talking to each other, and when she did the s'mores for him, and he was like, that's the nicest thing anybody has ever done for me. And, you know, she was like, oh, show me how to do it. Like, I listen, anybody knows me, I'm a romantic. So those little things to me are things that like show that people like each other. Like, you genuinely like me, I genuinely like you. We're doing the fun things, and they're showing appreciation to each other. Did they have some bumps along the way? 100%. But I want to root for them.
Same here. I feel like they're the most authentic couples left.
I'm a first Love Islander as well, but they're saying in the comment that that's not how the show usually works as far as moving strategically. Is anybody else on? This is my first time, so I don't have a comparison. But that's what I keep hearing them say, that this is the first time that they're moving that way.
Yeah,
Uh,
um, yeah,
oh,
that's true. So first of all, I want to say shout out to you guys. Thank you again for having this a panel again. Really appreciate it. Um, yeah, this is I think what Ace has done has definitely changed the way Love Island will be played in the future. Because in the past they always kept in mind strongest couples, right? When they did the voting, okay, who has the strongest couple, who's been trying the most, and they would normally keep them there, both on the UK side and the USA side. Where now, where especially with Jeremiah was like, well, you got in a couple too soon, and then you're not exploring, and the name of the game is exploring. That has never happened in the past, and now moving forward, with the 100K, I think they have definitely changed how the game will be played moving forward. And that's why I said justice for Jeremiah, because Taylor getting kicked off in a strong couple where you can see where there's generally liked. This is karma coming back for what he and Ace did, and I'm super happy for that. So we just got to get Ace out of here, then everything has been made whole. Because now moving forward, next game players is going to be okay, let's move around. And I wouldn't be surprised because at the end they're going to ask the winner, do you want to share the winnings with one another? And I think if Shelly and Ace win, Shelly or Ace are going to be like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to keep that money. Or if Nicolandria wins as well, because at the end they're going to ask, and I want to know what you guys think about that. If Nicolandria win, do you think they'll share the money?
Before we get there, we're still on Ace and Shelly. Wait, let's not shift it just yet. We're on Ace and Shelly. Let's not shift it just yet.
Okay,
Have we finished
well,
with Ace and Shelly?
We be shifting.
well, because I'm happy, man. I've got my
questions coming all across the panel. We got people. Let's take a break. My anxiety. I'm not even hosted this time, and my anxiety is through the roof.
You always overstimulated. You be overstimulated every panel. You overstimulated.
My boy Jeremiah got some stuff. My bad.
That's why you can't.
All right, bro. That's right. It's cool. I just want to make sure everyone said anything about they want to say about Ace and Shelly.
I
think it's scary.
Yeah.
I think they're fake. I think it's fake.
What I was gonna say about Ace is that, so I have watched Love Island before. I watched last season. I watched the season that Shelly was on, I think, which was like, it's either season like 2 or 3 or something like that. And there was another season where I watched like half of it. But yeah, it's never been played like that before. So there's never been a strategic element. Like, yeah, there's money at the end, but like even last season when Cordell won, he forgot that there was like a money prize. Like he forgot because he really just was there because he liked Serena. So most people are really just in there trying to prioritize having a strong connection. Like I've never seen them eliminating people saying, "Oh, you already had a connection." They
Right.
normally vote people off because they're like, "You haven't attempted to make a connection. You don't
Right.
have a strong connection. You don't need to be here. Get out." So
Right.
them playing it this way is actually not how it's normally played. Like it's more, and I think that's why the audience likes it because it's one of the more genuine shows on here. Like I think people do come on here because they want love and fame, not so much about the money. Um, but now that they've done it this way, I definitely do think it's going to negatively impact the seasons after, and I think it's going to just end up messing with the viewership because I can see people like people already complain so much about this season. I don't like that's not what they want to see. Like there's a reason why we like this show over like some of the other
Yeah,
reality
like
shows
Big
around
Brothers
love.
and yeah, Big
Right.
Brother.
So yeah, because this is not meant to be Big Brother. You want to go on Big Brother, go on Big Brother. But you
Yeah,
should not be strategic. Like the audience will see for themselves the connection that's strong and that they love. Like Ace overcompensated. All he had to do was just show his affection for Shelly, win over Shelly, and focus on his relationship, and we would have saw that and made them win, like last season with Serena and Cordell. But now, because he wanted to manipulate it, he ruined it for himself. Like he overcompensated pretty much.
do you think Ace is going to share the money if he wins with Shelly?
I think he will share it because I think that he's conscious about how he's being viewed. So he wouldn't want to be viewed in a negative light. So I think he would share it. I also don't think it for Ace. It's not even about the money. He just likes to win. It's an ego thing. He just wants to be like, yes, I won. I'm a winner. It's not even about the money because he has money. I'm pretty sure. It's not about that. It's just about winning. He as long as he wins, he'll be happy. Like he definitely kind of gives you like Kendall from last season. Like Kendall was all about winning. Like he wanted to win, and like when he got fourth place, you could see like he was disappointed. But he got fourth place because the audience caught on that like okay, he's being manipulative. Like it's not always genuine.
Mm. NMTV want to say something? Go for it.
Yeah, I had something to say, but also like a question for you, Kojo. Do you think Ace has intimacy issues, or his love languages are not touch and like affection in that way? Because I think even though that's not his ways of giving and showing love, I feel like they could have had intimate moments like in the more in the speakeasy or in the that like on the terrace, but they never really had really intimate moments. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, listen, I do think there's some intimate issues. I won't talk long about it, but I do think there's some intimate issues with Ace. I think he, for me, is somebody who wants to control his own emotions. And when he feels like when he feels like he's losing control of the emotions, that's when he's at his most vulnerable. So I think when you see that with Ace, he's always kind of holding his hands in his chest and everything. I think that's a good indication of him just kind of trying to keep himself together. So I definitely see how potentially there's some intimacy issues in that respect as well. So that's me just saying it very very shortly. Let me get Jay involved because I haven't heard anything from Jay, and I know you're new in the panel. Hello Jay, how you doing? We're talking about Ace and Shelly right now. Welcome to the conversation. What's your thoughts?
My first time being in the panel. I like you guys all. I like your point of view. I'm gonna a little bit disagree when people say like, oh, in the past people haven't been strategic. I don't. I mean, I just started watching like last season, season six. But I don't know if you remember, like one of the biggest episode when the ladies kicked out. I think her name was Andrea. Andrea, because I think I'm not sure, I don't remember. She had like one of the greatest connection with Rob, and it was like this big controversy to see like, oh, Leah kicked her because she was jealous and she wanted Rob for herself, and it was this this big reveal at the reunion when they played the entire clip of the deliberation and see what was going on. I see, that's when I feel like everybody actually tune into Love Island to see like pretty much, okay, wow, like what is going on. But talking about Chase, Ace, and Charlie, I'm rooting for them this season. I think they've been like a really good representation of Black people. I mean, let's be honest, this show, like in the history of the show, all like the Black men who goes on a show, usually they always go for the white woman and stuff. So outside of last season when Cordell was like really into Serena, because even after Casa Amor, I remember like Kendall saying like, oh my God, Kendall Miguel were like throwing like microaggressions toward Serena and saying like, oh, that's how you want your wife to behave and stuff. But still, Cordell chose to stay with her, and they did wrong. So anytime I'm gonna see like a Black couple who are not controversial, like be on my TV, I'm gonna start rooting for them. And I think this season, yes, it has been like manipulated, like we can call them scammer, but let's be honest, they're all scamming. They're all playing the game, like they know what it is. I don't believe Brian. He knows what time it is. He just wants his meal ticket. Like I mean, he saw Amaya. Like, come on, let's be. I would have loved for Amaya and uh Brian to be like part of an OG and see when Andrea came later as a bombshell to see if it would have left Amaya to go for Andrea and see what was going to happen. But that's pretty much. And by the way, Kojo, have you seen Ciara apology video on IG?
No, I haven't, but I just saw a TikTok about someone talking about it. I haven't actually watched it yet. So, was it a good apology or?
It was
I
good.
mean, I thought it was really good actually. So yeah, and
Okay.
she really like owned everything, like took accountability and yeah.
I don't think anybody can ask for a better apology video.
Yes, I
Okay.
mean,
Okay. So it's a good apology. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I might have to chop up. Maybe
I mean,
another
it,
day
it also
live on
it
it.
also
Mhm.
highlights to me what I think one of the problems that have been the undercurrent of this whole situation. Somebody literally held on to her screenshot to do what they did. And
yeah.
even though she doesn't highlight that in the apology, it's almost like it's the unspoken thing, the way she's like explaining the situation. They definitely held on to that to try to get her. And I think it just kind of goes into another issue that really needs to be addressed with the way people try to out people for clout and other stuff. But anyway, whatever. It was a good
No, I
apology.
think it's good. No, I think it's a good point. I mean, we should talk about that a little bit as well because I think you broached it a little bit in terms of the behavior, not the behavior, but maybe I know this was a running commentary that was happening on TikTok and stuff like that as well about maybe the way that Sierra is being treated. You know what I mean? Because again, I didn't think she was the worst person ever. You know what I mean? Now she made some comments that were against a certain community, so obviously they gonna handle her with how they gonna handle her. In that essence. So I can understand why they had to kick off the show. I'm not saying they shouldn't have kicked off the show. She had to go. She had to go. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is in that respect. So yeah. Someone called Ice on their phone. That's crazy. Okay, yes, Shadell, you want to say something?
Hi, yeah. How are you guys doing? Thanks for letting me join. Yeah, I watched the Sierra apology video. I think she did a great job. I was looking at the comments as we do, and a few people had screenshots of. So she referred to in her apology. She referred to the screenshot that has gone viral and stuff, and that was from 2024. I don't know the timestamps or the date stamps, but it seemed as though she was referring to a conversation she had in her DMs of someone correcting her of the slur, and she said you can pause the apology video and actually read her full message, and she's completely taken accountability within the DM. This is January 2024, and so she's like, oh, I'll remove this from my vocabulary. I'm so sorry, I didn't realize the derogatory term or whatever the meaning behind it. I apologize, and the person accepted her apology. So she said that since then she has not used that slur. It's been removed. She didn't just educate herself but people around her to know not to use that slur. So she was using that as part of her apology, like as was stated from from this panel, that someone had held onto that screenshot from way back. But in the comments, like I was saying, someone had a screenshot from 2023, and it was a similar interaction. albeit it was like a bit shorter. So the person was like, this is a derogatory term used against Asians. And then she says, apologies, or I didn't mean to use that, and something. It was a very short message. I don't remember the exact wordings, but she was knowledgeable of it being a slur. Again, this was in 2023. So in the comments, they were like, but babe, you knew about this in 2023. This screenshot that you're showing in your apology video is from 2024. So which one is it? Did you not know, or did you know and you continue to use it? So I think that might hurt her as the days go further. Again, as we're seeing it, it looks like, at face value, that is, we're seeing it's a good apology video. But if those receipts are legitimate, it's going to be very compromising to the genuinity of her apology. It's like, which one is it?
They're saying the 2023 one was fake. So,
okay. I mean, I can't speak to it. So, okay.
Yeah, I think her apology was good. But I would say the situation with Ulisa, I believe that's her name. I apologize if I mispronounced it. And her situation is a little bit different, even though they're both bad. But I think it's a little bit different. And to get like death threats for Sierra, that's kind of like extreme, because she's getting death threats and things like that. People calling ICE on her and her family. That's way too much because she did take accountability, and the whole situation is very, very different than what I believe Lisa's situation is. I mean, she got kicked off the show. I guess you have to be consistent, right? If one goes, the other has to go. But calling ICE and death threats, I think that's like way too far.
Definitely agree with you on it being too far if you're doing death threats as well. I think that's something that's played not just reality TV, YouTube, everything. People get too confident, too bold behind a faceless place, and I really do feel like it's time that they start tracing people who do these things. And if you're going to be throwing death threats, I mean, if you were to do that in the streets, you could be in trouble for that. So I really do feel like it's anyone doing that is a nasty piece of work. I don't care if we disagree. I didn't like what Ulysses said about against people as well. But I don't want to be saying death threats for you. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not even an equilibrium here. Do you know what I mean? So if anybody is doing that, I've said this before, to man or to woman, there's no reason why you should be saying death threats to anybody. I don't like Huda and what she does, but I don't need to be going to a DM. Like, I've never thought to myself, going to a DM and start threatening them. There is something wrong with you, and you need help if you're doing that. I just want to be very honest with you. You may be angry, you may be hurt, but you need help. You shouldn't be going to anybody's DMs. I don't care what they said. You shouldn't be going into their DMs because of a reality TV show and wishing death upon them, family members, calling ICE if that's what you are doing. I'm not saying that's what necessarily 100% doing. That needs to stop now. You need to be ashamed of yourself and hold yourself accountable. It's a nasty piece of work. You know what I mean? For me personally, I don't need to support and try to minimize what Sierra's done. What I'm saying to you, if you are somebody who's doing that, I need you to get a life, and I need you to step away from the keyboard right now. Step away from the keyboard and the phone. Okay, all right. Step away from the keyboard and the phone. Leave it alone. Okay, and leave their DMs alone. Okay, it's not something we should be condoning at all. Yeah. Yes.
well,
Tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Tomorrow's opened, but you want to go for it, you can go see it, and then tomorrow go after you.
Yeah, you can go see it.
The only thing I was going to add to that point is, I know Sean and I were talking about this. I can't remember if I said on the last stream, but they're going to get to the point where you're just going to have very weird people that come on Love Island and all of these reality TV shows, because everybody has a digital footprint, and unless you completely wipe it before you get on the show, or pray that no one's been storing things to try to bring you down, it's going to be really hard, and the show is not going to be able to find every single thing that someone has stored on you. And so I think it's just getting to the point where, yeah, you want people not to be like effed up people, but also I think there needs to be a study on why people are so obsessed with trying to tear people down, or trying to hold, it's like a hold people accountable kink. people definitely have a hold people accountable kink, and that's what I've been noticing. So I don't know what type of people they're going to end up getting on this show.
I think that this is a great example of it's a negative and a positive thing, because you don't want morally depraved people on these type of shows anyway. Um, I'm trying to use an example that's not like showing me being biased or anything like that. But I feel as though if you are going to be on national TV, make sure that your backyard, all of that is clean. Also, I mean, people can't scam their way onto shows, but you should expose everything. I don't feel as though what's being done to Sierra is fair. I feel very, very sorry for her. I'm a Nicolandria stan. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not ashamed of that, but I do still feel bad for Sierra. I really do. I even before this whole like death threat, whatever it is, it's not a great place to be. I see her as a human being. I don't see her as a bad person. I don't think she was malicious. Even if she did know that it was a derogatory term and she still used it, that's in question. But I don't think that, to Kojo's point, her family needs to be receiving death threats. She needs to be receiving death threats. It's not that serious. But I think that it's a cautionary tale for people that do want to gain quote unquote fame or notoriety, that if you're not a good person, you should not be trying to get on these shows. Or if you are not a good person, you should try to be a better person. Trying to, like, just be a better person, or just know you're going to be exposed. I'm okay with the exposure culture. However, I don't like the extremes of it. Unstable people, they're just that, right? And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, to be quite honest. However, I feel as though it gives those negative people, or people with malicious intent or rocky moral standards, it gives them a second thought. Should I really be doing this? And maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't be on our TV screens.
I was gonna say, like, I see both sides of like what people are saying. I think the whole thing with Sierra was, so there's three different interactions that I've seen from that post that she made in 2024, where she was getting the medical procedure done, because and she used the slur word. So there was one post that said, "Girl, delete this. This is gonna come back one day." Um, People are like, they'll try to expose you. The second post that I saw was somebody else who also commented on that same story, and they told her, "This is a slur. You can't use it." And her response was, "Well, luckily, that's not how I was using it." Like, she dismissed the person, and those were the two that were going viral. Now, in her apology video, she has shown the third interaction with someone else who commented on that story that educated her on how it should be used, and her apologizing. So there clearly was multiple people who commented on that story to tell her not to use it. And obviously one person was able to get through to her and delete it. But those other interactions I still think were true, with people obviously seeing that she was saying that. And she also had a following before um this show, because she does like content or whatever. So I get that. I definitely get that, like, I can see why people would like be upset, but and I also can see how like people are saying it's different from Ulissa, because Ulissa, I don't even want to speak on that girl because she's just ignorant. But I think her apology was good, and I don't think that people should take it to the extreme of like calling ICE and her family, sending death threats. Like, that actually is sick, for you to call ICE on someone knowing like the state of the world currently. But then also just sending death threats, you have to be a very weird person to do that. Like, there's definitely some wires that are crossed wrong upstairs. But I see both sides, but I also see why people wanted her to be held accountable, because the screenshots that were being posted, like the one where she like dismissed the person, where she said, "Well, luckily that's not how I was using it," even after they told her it was a slur. And I think they said another response after that, and she just didn't reply. I think that is what upset people, because it's like people tried to educate you, and if she had like had a different response, I don't think it would have went viral, because then that person would have felt like, oh, okay, like she understands. But the one where she actually did take accountability and understand and delete the post, it hadn't been posted until today. when she posted her apology. So I think that's the reason why people were upset.
Sean, I ain't happy little while, boy.
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of taking it all in. I think there's just so many layers of what's happening. I do think, like, especially in the US and also globally, because we're just in a very interesting state. So I think there is also a little bit of I don't know what the word, similar to what Seaway was talking about in terms of folks wanting to have accountability. I think due to some of the politics, people feel a little out of control in terms of they don't have control over some of the things that are happening, especially due to, you know, who's in office and running America right now. And I think that the climate that we're in, people don't have a lot of tolerance. And I'm not saying a slur should be tolerated. I'm saying, like, people are looking for anything they can hold on to kind of exact a little bit of power. So I think whatever happened with Jalissa, and I think she's an airhead. Let me just say, I think she's an airhead. She's come out, kind of corrected it, then made it worse, and then trying to correct it. She's an airhead. Okay, she's an airhead. Sierra is a little more, I think she's a little more, what's the word? I see her as performative. I felt like she was performative before all of this, you know? I also think, like, who you align yourself with speaks a lot too. And, you know, since we're here. I think that there's some groups of people that chase white validation. I mean, white supremacy does exist, and we all do and are guilty of it, but some people chase it a little more than others. And I think Sierra chased it. Do I think people should be being harmful, mean to her? No. I think that's ridiculous. Like, I never thought and watched TV, and now in a space where we review and talk about people that are on TV, I still have yet to jump into anybody's DMs and tell them anything. Like, I don't, it doesn't bother me. Like, once I talk about it, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need harm to come to that person. Like, come on. I think people need to just relax a little bit, take a deep breath, you know, touch grass, get in tune with themselves. It's like, why are you so overly consumed with somebody? But again, I don't feel bad for her, though, in the sense that she's off the show. I don't feel bad. I'm glad they packed her up with the quickness. I'm sorry. I'm not upset about it. It doesn't bother me. And clearly it doesn't bother Nick either, because he's ready to move on. You know, his little bit of moment he might have had of upset, it's over. So, yeah. Again, I'm glad she's gone, though. I think the actions have consequences, you know? And I think that's something that people need to also understand. Like, yes, people always like to say, oh, there's free speech. We can say anything we want. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you don't have a consequence. And her consequence for making a very ignorant statement is now she's no longer on a show where she thought she was going to continue to go on. So, you know, bye.
And you could tell what type of people she got around, because you see the way her friends did her. I had just said, I told Sean, I said, if I got caught up in something and you put some type of statement like that about me on your Instagram, I'm gonna be pissed. I don't care what happened. I'm not gonna come up with a statement about Kojo, Sean, or whatever that don't need to be made. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got too much time in for me to just be coming in rain. You know what I mean? Like, adding to whatever y'all going through. And we all have had our form of getting dragged on the internet. You know, well, maybe not Sean, but I have. Kojo has, probably on his own platform. I'm not ever gonna come and add to that. That was just freaking, like, just very weird behavior. I do agree with Sean that, and her being from Arizona is very telling. You know, I don't even know if y'all haven't been to Arizona. If you go to Arizona, I was in Phoenix, and when I tell you, if you black, they don't even look your way. Okay, so I think a lot of people are conditioned to try to seek white validation, and that may be part of it. And then for the people trying to tear her down, I just find it to be very interesting and interesting, not like interesting as in like unfortunate, that we have more standards for Sierra than we do our own president, than we do Congress, than we do all these people, and people are more invested in tearing down Huda and calling DCFS on Huda and getting Sierra packed up for a word when our president has done words, actions, I mean everything. You know what I'm saying? And so
The felon.
yeah, he's a felon. I mean, unfortunately, because we cannot control him, and like Sean says, we're helpless. We are one. I think a lot of us. I can't speak to the UK, but I can tell you in America, we are doing grade A deflection right now. There's so much going on, and instead of talking about what's going on, everybody's talking about Love Island. I think to try to find some peace of mind. Unemployment's a mess. And it's really high white collar unemployment. Like people are really just trying to deflect, and I think because people are not doing well, everybody knows somebody who's underemployed or unemployed. People are just focusing all their energy on Love Island, which is a cool deflection, which is fine. That's the point of it. But when you're hyper focusing and hyper fixating to the point where, you know, you're treating Sierra like, you know, she's the worst thing that you ever seen, I think we're losing the plot. That's all I'm saying. I think we're losing the plot. So I'm glad that she's been held accountable for what she did. I definitely feel like it's something that can be learned from it. But I think Sierra also needs to look at her environment and do some deep dives on how she even got to the place where she's trying to change her eye shape. We haven't even talked about that. She's trying to change her God-given eye shape.
And her lips.
And her lips, because she doesn't like herself. She got a lot of problems.
Well,
I'm done.
Well, I will just say this, like, as far as us being entertained, I mean that it's Love Island is like the Coliseum Games. When Rome was falling, one of the things that they did was make sure that the people were entertained. And so, you know, while unemployment is high and all like that, this is a standard. This is like a standard procedure, right? Put entertainment out there, so at least the people can be entertained while the financial system is collapsed. But all in all, I mean, she's gone at the end of the day. So regardless of how whoever feels about it, I think from at least from the Love Island side, the situation is rectified. So now, I mean, I'm happy for it personally because Nick can get out of here next because, you know, we still got for the Justice for Jeremiah crew, we still got 2 people left. Right, we still got 2 people left. They got to go. So
Nick is going to the 100.
Well, like, see, that's the thing because, like, for the Nicolandria, I have a question. When they came back from the basketball, and he asked her, "Did you miss me?" Look at her face. How can you possibly think that relationship is going to work?
What did you get from that? From one clip over thousands of clips. What did you get from that clip? I'm curious.
I got that this is a forced relationship.
Okay.
This was production producing a sham relationship because
from one clip.
Well, no, overall, I mean, there's a lot of clips, but that clip just cemented, right? My belief from all along. It's been forced. Even even at the candlelight dinner, the conversation was super uncomfortable.
For who?
Who we talking about? Nicolandria?
We're talking about Nicolandria.
It was super uncomfortable.
What? The universe was aligning.
I mean, we are in a group chat going rogue. That's what this panel has turned into.
Sorry.
I'm gonna talk about this right now. No, I want to talk about this. No, I'm gonna talk about that. No, I'm gonna throw you a question. Y'all is blowing me.
I thought you were moving over to Nicolandria. I thought it was a smooth transition into Nicolandria, but Coach O, what do you think we should do?
No, it's smooth.
Hey, flow on, man, flow on. I'm interested to hear the thoughts. Flow on.
It's forced. The candlelight conversation was forced. She looked over there, and they even said, yeah, because of other situations, it just doesn't feel right. Now they come back together, and shout out to Olandra and Nick, boy. They are some prime time spinners, boy, because they are lying to each other's face,
Oh my God.
cold, cold. I mean, like psychopathic lying. Yeah, after they're gone, the feelings spur up. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Can I come in, or have you rested? Or
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I rest my case. I rest my case to the court.
I'm rubbing my hands. I'm getting ready. Nicolandria fans, I'm getting ready. So, who kissed who on day one? Did you watch from the first episode?
Yes,
Olandria
yes.
was Nick's only kiss because Bella wasn't kissing anybody. She was kissing people on the cheeks. Olandria kissed Nick, and he said, "Oh, it's spicy." Then she kissed Taylor. And Bella gave in her life. She said, I was actually interested in Taylor, and Olandria was interested in Nick. And she was like, yeah, we were cool with that. We talked about it. Case in point one. On the blindfolds, didn't Nick go over and kiss Olandria? Yeah, they were feeling each other. And every challenge, Nick picked Olandria. Every challenge. That's what they were talking about during this little awkward dinner date that you were talking about. They were talking about, oh yeah, you did put me for little challenges, but I wasn't sure. That's what Landry was saying to him. And he was saying, yeah, it's like a secret admirer thing. The man is a hot commodity. I'm not saying that he wasn't doing, some crazy things. I'm not saying he wasn't doing some crazy things, but what's he gonna do? Say no? No? Does any man say no to women coming on to him? I'm not excusing it. I'm not saying that. I'm just, we just talk about the facts. I can't go to the, people's actions per se. I'm just listing facts for you. I'm not reading into anything. Next, we have when she comes back from Casa. All right, actually, sorry, let me backtrack to the Casa eliminations. Ariana was very clear. She said everybody's returning back to the villa. So they were not trying to save Olandria and Nick. It could have been anybody that got eliminated. It could have been Amaya. It could have been TJ, the ones that were uncoupled. And they could have asked them the same thing because Ariana was very clear. Everyone is coming back to the villa. So nobody was meant to be leaving the villa or eliminated. So this just was in the stars for Olandria and Nick. Next case in point. Nick's family. I'm trying to go into chronological order because there's just so many. There's just so many guys. Let me cook. So Nick's mom was like, "Oh, I like Olandria. She brings out the man in the boys." And she said, "I feel like that would bring out Nick's. He has a playful, goofy side, and I feel like that would be good for her." Why did Nick say the same exact thing? His mama said it before he said it on the show. He's not watching his mama. His mom and him have, like Jesse Wu said, she's a praying mama. She knows what he's thinking. Okay? Next, they have their little connection in the soul ties. That man was in outer space after he kissed her. That man was gone. And y'all can see that. Y'all can't lie to me and say that that's not what happened. That man was shooting for the stars. Their kiss was electric. But of course, he had to backtrack because Olandria was stuck on Taylor. We already know this. Everybody's been in an Olandria situation where you like a boy that doesn't really like you, but she wanted her cowboy, so she was in that daze. And of course, Sierra at that time was her friend. I don't know if she's still her friend. I don't know about that. But, at the time, so she's like hesitant to really go for something that she's been liking since day one again. But she was like, this is going to be awkward. And Nick was like, okay, let me go first. I know that she's the type of girl that's, she's loyal. She's probably going to feel uncomfortable. So let me say I'm not that interested. That one, we might be Delulu or reading into it because obviously he said with his own mouth, like, we're just friends, blah, blah, blah. But his actions are speaking differently. Oh, sorry. Let's reverse back to after Soul Ties. She says, I'm cold.
Well,
And
one second.
Huh?
Do I get a chance to rebut after this or
That's
no?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's up to Kojo, but I'm still cooking. I'm still cooking. So he
When's
takes
the
his
meal gonna be
shirt off
done?
of his back when she says she's cold. His shirt. Sorry, I mean, if we've heard all the saying, if a man gives you the shirt off his back, he's ready to do anything for you. So for me, his actions are speaking louder. I'm going to try to fast forward this. So when Olandria is now left in the shopping block where it's Coco, Vanna, JD, and the other dude, and who's saying I go for Alandria. Wasn't Ace trying to get Coco back in there? Wasn't Taylor saying that Alandria was throwing shots at him? Wasn't the other Villa girl saying, I want to stick up for Coco? I mean, it would be nice to have Alandria back, but that's my girl Coco. Nick, Pepe, and TJ were the only ones that for sure we could hear them say Olandria's name. That's 3 out of 5 people opponents. Who did Nick have to bust down to make sure that Olandria stayed in the villa? Nick was fighting for his life for his girl Olandria to come back to the villa. Please, 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 please don't try to. We're not delusional. We're not delusional. These are based on facts, guys. And then when they came back, that Nick started having some, I don't know, I've been looking on TikTok too long, but there's some clips of, Nick side-eyeing Taylor for how he tried to do Olandria. So it was kind of like he shifted. If you saw when Nick was eliminated from the villa, Ace cried for Nick. Taylor went home yesterday. Did we see a tear from anybody else but Amaya? I'll wait. Chat? It's a no, right? It's a no. Yeah. So I'm going to say this, okay? Nick is for Alandria because Nick knows what he sees. He says she is the most beautiful. He said it to her face. You're one of the most beautiful. And then his confession, she is the most beautiful woman I've seen in my lifetime. That's Nick's side. We already, let me rest my case on Nick. We know that Nick is into her. Olandria says she moves. She's a slow burner. She's not trying to be physical. Nick has been very, very respectful of that. But the producers are actually the one that's not producing it. They're hiding the little breadcrumbs. I'm going to end soon. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm long-winded. There's just so much. It's just thick. It's just so much to eat off of. There's a clip of Olandria giving Nick one of her pendants, before she goes to Fiji. You can see it in one of her profile pictures. And then in a clip where Nick and her are talking, it's literally the same necklace that she has on because it's a matching set, but she has one and he has one. So she's giving him gifts. He's giving him, quote unquote, her heart. Y'all need to stop playing with this couple. I'm gonna stop. I rest.
Have you checked that Pasha Del? Because it got to be boiling over.
Can we please stop? Because I'm starting to think that you actually.
No, let her finish. She needs to land this plane. We need her to land it. Come back.
I'm dying of laughter. Oh my
God.
God.
The steak isn't done yet. She needs to cook it fully down. I want it fully cooked so we can cook it well.
Well done.
Let her finish and cook it well. Cook it properly. Go on, cook it well. Continue, sis. Expound all the evidences. We need the investigation to be fully exposed. Go on, you continue. I want to hear more about how you're seeing this Nicolandria stuff because they've got opinions to say to you. Finish your point, sis. Don't slow down. Take your time with it. Cook it slow.
I want to be fair and respectful, so I'm gonna let you guys talk.
No. Cook it a little bit more.
I have something to say.
Can I please rebut?
Have you finished? Are you sure, Shell? You finished? Because listen, it sounds like you have some more to cook. I want you to cook it.
No,
properly. I don't want to rush you. I don't rush you. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them.
Guys, when they win, can we do a victory lap?
Have you cooked
fans, please let's flood Kojo's comments when they win on Sunday. Please. At least top 2. So mine doesn't win. I'm finished. I rest.
All right.
I don't have a long reply. All I want to say, I know he's about to respond. All I want to say is I'm starting to understand the issue now. The Nicolandria fans are as delusional as Alandria is, and this is the reason why they're coming up with excuses. This is my only observation. Alandria lacks discernment, and so do the people who are behind them. Because if you guys cannot see that Nick is a grade A scammer, you guys are lacking as much discernment as Alandria had the entire time she was in that villa. And that's all I got. You could do a long reply. That's really all that needs to be
No. My
said.
reply is very short. So first of all, I want to say, congregation people in the chat, can we get an amen for sister It's Seaways? Because she just said a word right there. Let the congregation say amen. Because Nick is a whole scammer. And y'all need to pray that she can get discernment from the Holy Ghost or something. Because Olandria, she needs Christ. So I'm just going to say this right quick. So when Nick was voting to save her, he said, I don't believe that Olandria and Taylor are done yet. That is the full reprisal of history. Okay? See, now I'm whipping up the dessert right now. Second of all, you need to just go watch Kojo's deep dive on Nicolandria and Nick because he laid it all out. And I'm going to leave it right there. Justice for Jeremiah.
I have something to add. So, um, okay. So what I think about Nicolandria, I'm not gonna say I'm for them or against them. I do think that Nick had an attraction to her from day one. However, I feel like the reason why it seems like faked or forced, or seems like maybe Nick is like a scammer, is because I think that Alondria is uncomfortable with like a man who is like affirming her, or like he's always complimenting her and stuff like that. Like she gets uncomfortable, I think, with like physical affection when it seems to be like real, if there's like an emotion behind it. That's why she can like kiss in the challenge, but like not outside of the challenge. So I think that Alondra is uncomfortable with it because she has an idea of the man that she thought she would be with, and Nick doesn't fit into that. And so I think that's why she never really gave it a chance and just went more with Taylor, because that fit like the fantasy of what she wanted. But then I'm also hearing from like other cast members that aren't on the show anymore that were saying that Nick did want to pursue her, and Taylor, I guess, told him not to in the beginning or something like that. So I think there's more to it as to why he didn't pursue her earlier on. I wouldn't necessarily say he's like faking that he likes her, but I think that Alondria or Alandria is uncomfortable because she's not comfortable in general with a man who is like showing I don't want to say genuine interest, because that's up for debate, but I think that she gets very uncomfortable with the man that's saying like, oh, you're beautiful, like, someone that's like uplifting her. Like some women have never really had that kind of connection, so they feel uncomfortable when a man is doing that. So I think she's trying to give it a chance, but I don't think, unfortunately, that the connection would go anywhere, because she's not going to be able to get over that hump of maybe what she thinks the man that she wants to be is like versus like Nick, so.
And I just want to say one more thing to the evidence and to the court. Nick kissed everybody. Nick kissed so many people, his cold sore came out. So him just kissing Alandria doesn't mean much. Because I think it was in like episode 13 or something, you can see a huge sore on his lip, giving it to everybody. I rest my case.
That was a football injury, by the way.
That's yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, he said him and someone else were throwing around the football and it hit his lip. So it was like a bruise on his lip. It wasn't wasn't a cold sore, which makes sense when you look at it. It doesn't really look like a cold sore. Like if you ever seen what it really looks like, it definitely does more so resemble. It's just like a odd spot for a bruise, pretty much. But yeah, it was a bruise.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, I just feel like if everybody will be okay, then I support it. If you guys can just be okay and just be okay. If it doesn't work out, I need you all to be okay if it doesn't work out, because the way everybody is so invested in Nicolandria, the way everybody has conjured up, all the reasons why he wants her and why, we're being haters. I hope you're going to be okay, because it might not work out. I'll be happy if he really if he really does genuinely like her and he's going to treat her well, like she deserves to be treated well, then I'll support it. But right now, it's just not looking like that. It's not looking like that. I think Nick goes in any direction that the wind blows. I'm sorry. That's what I think. I think he's going to go whatever makes sense, whatever makes the moment. And if I'm wrong, I'm happy about it. But I just want you all to be okay if it doesn't work out. I want you all to be okay, because the think pieces and the we're rooting for them and it's Nicolandria, it's like blind loyalty. It's blind
Yes,
loyalty.
it is.
And I want you guys to be okay. Because I'm going to be okay if it works out. But I'm also going to be okay if it doesn't. I just want y'all to be all right, because the way y'all get worked up and y'all start slicing scenes. Look at this. He kissed her in the mouth. This is a challenge where this is borderline Hunching Island, okay? And I'm avoiding using certain words because we're on YouTube. But these people are, the whole goal is to be sexualizing each other. So because he's sexualizing her, that doesn't mean he really likes her.
How do you sexualize her?
They said you're patronizing them, Sean.
How do you
said that?
sexualize her? Apologies. I'm trying to understand that.
They said you talking to them.
Now,
like
if you guys don't see that he sexualized her,
I would like to give me 2 examples, and I'll.
Oh my gosh!
All right.
You need 2 examples.
Yes, I would love 2 examples of how Nick is sexualizing
Everybody.
Olandria.
Everybody's sexualizing everybody. That's the whole point of the show.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Hello, everybody's doing that.
I'm still waiting. Give me one example then. Let's go down to one example. I'm confused.
I just think that's almost like it's begging the point for me to tell you that everybody does it. Like, what are you missing?
Yeah, that's the whole
For
point
me,
of the show.
I'm not seeing him disrespect her. That's why I'm asking for an example.
I didn't say he did that.
Sexualizing someone for me is disrespectful. Why are you sexualizing me? I'm not here for your sexual pleasure. That's why I'm confused.
But she is, though, allegedly. Anyway.
No, but hold on. When you get in a relationship, part of getting in a relationship is for sexual pleasure. So it's inherent in a relationship, right? And so it's Love Island, right? Kissing challenges, bikinis all the time, showing your tatas in A all the time. It's literally a show about sexualizing each other. That's what it's about, sexual.
So is that a negative thing or a positive thing? The reason why I don't want to assume anything, that's why I'm asking these questions like this versus making assumptions. Is sexualizing someone a positive thing because it's Love Island, or because he's adding it as it's a con?
Maybe let me restate my point. My point is that just because he is sexualizing her or interested in her in a sexual way, that does not mean that he wants a genuine connection and a relationship with her.
Yeah.
That's what that was my point.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's attracted to her?
I'm not even going there. I'm just saying the sexual part of it.
Because he's sexually attracted to her doesn't mean he wants a long-term relationship with her. Is that what you mean? Is that a better way of phrasing it?
Nick is very lustful. I mean, I'm not going to say he's very lustful. So it makes it hard to sell the connection. Like, that's why I'm like, I'm not against, I'm not
Nick
for
is
it.
attracted to Taylor too.
Himself more.
Nick is attracted to Taylor. He shows the same type of interest he does in him that he does Taylor.
Anyway, don't even throw that out there.
Oh my God.
Down a whole nother drain, please.
People keep
I'm off that train. I'm off that train.
Arching his
I am
back.
off that train.
I'll make this point. For me as a Nicolandria fan, I'm shipping the relationship within the villa. I don't know what's going to happen outside. She wants herself a cowboy, a countryman, or a southern man, or what have you. He doesn't necessarily fit the bill, even though he's from Florida, quote unquote. I don't know. Florida people are very different. But I'm not seeing the relationship outside the villa. I haven't thought that far because that's none of my business. They're not going to be in my screens, so I'm not following them that far. I'm interested in what's going on in the villa. And thus far, I feel as though they've built a beautiful friendship that has developed into something more because they've always had a crush on each other. That's why I was giving those examples. So for me, I ship the relationship because of that. I don't think that he's merely, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, I'm putting it for my own understanding. I don't think he's simply just sexualized her to be something of a sexual eye candy. Like, for me, it's not downgraded to that level. I feel like he genuinely respects her and he likes her, again, because he's fought for her to stay in the villa. And the way he has treated her with his different gestures. That man was cooking in the kitchen. I didn't, there's more. But my point is, I feel as though they're a beautiful friendship to relationship for the villa and for this context, for this contest rather. I don't see Ace and Shelley making it. I feel like they're too much alike. They do have egos, like someone already pointed out. So that's not something that's gonna progress, in my opinion. I don't know about Iris and Pepe. I really don't care past the villa. I really don't. That's just my personal opinion. Other Nicolandria fans could think other things. I saw a few of them on her account where she was posting about her apartment. Oh, you guys, you're setting up you and Nick's apartment. I thought it was so cute, but that's not necessarily what I'm not in that Delulu land. I support it though. I fully support it, but that's not where I'm thinking about it. So I just wanted to make that very clear because I know a lot of people like to sexualize Black women. I'm sorry. I apologize. Someone was trying to say something.
No, I think Michael's open. Continue. You're good.
Okay. I hate that Black women being sexualized. So I got a little bit triggered. Again, I'm not putting words in your mouth. I wanted to understand where you were coming from with that statement. And so these women, these Black women specifically, have been the most non-sexually active on the show. And I know that we can say that from actual evidence of them not sleeping with it. Multiple people sleep with two guys, non-Black women. So I just want to make it clear that, yeah, these women are sexy. They're very, free with it as far as like their confidence, their class. So for me, I don't see these men sexualizing them or just only sexualizing them. Maybe they're attracted to them sexually, as they should be, because they're beautiful and they do have sex appeal, but that's not the level in which I'm seeing Nick look at Olandria. He might look at people that way. I don't know, but that's not how I'm taking it. But again, this is just my perspective.
Yeah, I will have to say the hideaway was absolutely pointless this season. I mean, they put a condom on Huda's bed and he cracked it that same night. Iris was getting it on in soul ties. Yeah, they were getting it in this season. Like everybody. Well, except
not
for
the Black
Shelley.
women.
Yeah, but that's what I'm gonna say. Except for Shelley and Nicolandria, they were getting it. And Clarke, they were getting it in.
Thank you. Yes, let's stand up for Clarke as well, because Taylor was all over her. So I appreciate the Black women for keeping it classy. I'm not trying to shame or slut shame anybody or anything like that. I'm just trying to say, if we want to sexualize people, let's actually put it the people that have been overly sexualizing themselves or throwing the kitty cat or cootie cat at everybody that walks in the room. I mean, insane. I'm sorry.
No, but the show is designed to be about sex, right? I mean, that's the show. So he's not wrong, right? So everybody there is sexualizing each other because the show is designed for sex. I mean, look at the challenges, the milk challenges, where you have to squirt milk in your mouth and then spit in another person's mouth, right? Like that's, I mean, come on. Shout out to Hannah too, because when she kissed and spit in Charlie's mouth, that was wild. That was wild.
I'm confused. You saying you like it?
No. I'm just saying it was wild. I ain't saying I like it. I'm just saying that was some wild. You know what?
It sounds like you like it the way you bringing it up. Why are you saying shout out to Hannah?
Well, cause she did it. Because I'm just reinforcing what Sean was talking about. How the show is.
I like it too.
Sean liked it too, yeah.
No,
hell I did. That was disgusting on a lot of levels.
Yeah, I'm like, why are we catching strays? We just giving examples. I'm catching a stray.
I think you just went down a
that is not a stray. That's a question.
Seaway decided to use her skills to trip you up a little bit.
Went the whole way down the left.
You walked into a trap. You should have put while you were ahead, hot sauce.
You're a freaky frog.
No, I'm just saying because am I wrong? She came to the villa, kissed, and then spit in his mouth because it's just showing how the show is about sex. That's all I'm saying. I was just emphasizing. That's all.
We got you.
I get that.
Listen, if y'all want to, far be it from me. Because that's some of the commentary. Like, I don't know. I was talking to my cousin. I don't know why Black men are so triggered by Nicolandria. Hey, like I told you guys, I'm not that much invested. So if you all think that he genuinely likes her, I'll take it. You want me to take back he's sexualizing her or the potential of him doing that and not really liking her? I'll take it back. Nick has shown nothing but respect for Olandria, and all his intentions are pure as the driven snow.
In his words, my queen. Thank you. I appreciate you, brother.
I really haven't got a chance to say what I really wanted to say about this. I just think my black women and y'all gonna say y'all in enemy territory, that's fine. You're really not though, never with me. But I'm really concerned in my black women and my fellow women for their stance on this Nicolandria. It's causing me some concern. I know in reality TV we all kind of see ourselves in different situations, and I told Sean this already. A lot of us have been in the situation where a quote unquote nice guy have wasted our time. We kind of missed some of the flags, the red flags, things like that. And then the next girl he treated like a queen, and we were sitting here in our room crying, sliding down the wall, trying to figure out why we weren't good enough, having self-esteem issues, trying to bounce back. I would say most women can relate to that experience at least once or twice in their life. However, I pray that throughout that experience, though, you also set back, reflected on why maybe you guys were not a good match, on maybe what red flags you may have missed, X, Y, and Z, things that you can learn from things, how you participated in it and moved on. What I'm seeing is that instead of doing that for Alandria, who has honestly as much issues as Huda and the next person, just in a different way, you guys are trying to give her some fairy tale ending that lacks accountability. Alandria, yes, I will stand on this. Alandria has just as much issues as Huda, just in a different way. The problem that you can't see that is because a lot of black women, a lot of women must be having these same issues. It's easy to point out somebody that's crashing out. It's not easy to point out somebody is emotionally avoidant, a person who's delusional, a person who is living in la la land, a person who actually a person who created a man in her head that was never Taylor, a person who wanted to date a man like Taylor she didn't even want Taylor. She wanted this idea of Taylor. She created Taylor in her head, Taylor who was never there. That man was never there. A person who passed on Jalen, who's very nice looking, by the way, on TikTok as we speak, with a 10-pack and looks like a nice attitude and a nice job. My thing is that instead of actually trying to figure out what can be learned from where Alandria went wrong, because that's the point of this show. You're supposed to be able to look at people, pick up life lessons, things like that. And people keep saying Hood is bat-ish crazy. No, she just has some emotional regulation issues. She's a little touched. My point is, though, is that her touchness is obvious. She's what I call low-hanging fruit. And I think people, we say we go deep on this channel. A lot of people really aren't going that deep. They want to get stuck on Huda because Huda's low-hanging fruit.
Sorry.
We can see what's wrong with Huda.
Give me one example of how Alandria and Huda compare.
I literally just explained it, and people are missing it because they don't want to hear me. I said I listed everything that was wrong with Alandria.
Okay, but she was delusional,
I'm saying people are missing that, and they can easily diagnose and say what's wrong with Huda because it's obvious.
Okay.
We can see that she has emotional regulation issues. We can see that I'm not going to give her other things that she probably got. We can see that she
has emotional.
No, ma'am. See, you're not listening like the people.
I said make comparisons between the two, so I'm looking for the similarities.
I never said they were similar.
You said she just as
issues.
Okay.
I said I'm respectfully. I feel like you're not listening. And so I'm going to try to say it again. I said Huda and Alandria both have issues. I said Huda's issues are more obvious. I said Alandria's issues, and then I listed all the things that were wrong with her. And I said for Huda, people don't like her for X, Y, Z, her obvious issues. For Alandria, they want to give her a fairy tale story. Instead of actually looking at what the crap went wrong and learning from it. Because my point is, if people actually looked at what Alandria did wrong in this situation, instead of only blaming Taylor, You wouldn't be trying to put her with Nick. The reason why people are trying to put her with Nick, who's a known bopper. Nick is a bopper. He's for everybody. And when I say for everybody, he's in everybody's face. And this has nothing to do with sexuality. He be lying to the men, lying to the women. He's somebody's friend, then he vote him out. Nick is a known bopper. He's for the streets. But y'all want to put him with Nicolandria? For what?
Okay.
Well, I got to say this. Justice for Jeremiah. Seaway is on point. He is a bopper. He's not the only bopper, but justice for Jeremiah.
Okay, Jeremiah is just going to be fine. Going back to Alandria and Huda comparisons, I don't believe that that's accurate. I heard your points. Thank you for breaking it down. I do appreciate you answering my question and repeating some of your points. Nobody said that Alandria was perfect. Nobody said that. For me, let me speak for myself. I don't see them outside of the villa. I made that very clear. I do like them within the villa as far as a couple because of friendship to lovers. As far as her delusion with Taylor, yeah, I spoke on the delusion. I don't think anybody let that go from her. However, people that have left the villa did speak to how they thought, oh, they were surprised about Taylor and Nicolandria. So there were some people that are completely oblivious to him not liking her because we got some insights into conversations that they didn't get insights into conversations. You're doing as if Nicolandria was completely delulu in the sense of like she was lying to herself. Taylor lied to her. That's why Nick and Ace are moving different around him because they feel like he also did her dirty. You can see that in the way they're interacting with one another. So even his boys that are for him are still treating him sideways. So you guys are, I'm not saying that Nicolandria is completely innocent. However, you're trying to do as if she should be held accountable because she played herself. We have all been there. If you say that you've never been, delulu about a guy that you liked, or you didn't look at the signs or what have you, we've all been there. You're doing as if she also crashed out on the whole villa. You're doing as if that she called Taylor outside of his name. During the mailbox down, she did say like a bitch. So I'm going to, sorry, apologies if we're not supposed to do that on YouTube, but she did call him out his name, yes, and she did crash out, but we've all done that on one guy or someone that you've been patient with them. And she did say, I asked him. So she did check in with him. She did ask him questions. If he was truthful with her, then she probably would have had more insight to let it go. It was only when he was truthful because he was forced to be truthful and picked Clarke in front of everybody that she was finally able to let him go. Because yes, in her mind, she believed what he was telling her, the lies he was telling her. So I don't, well, I mean, I don't know you, so I'm not trying to speak to you in an aggressive way, but I don't think it's fair to hold Nicolandria accountable for being deceived. He was openly deceived. Nobody's upset with him and Clarke for forming a connection. I'm not upset with it. I thought it was really cute. The chair was cute. Continue connection at the airport. If you were truthful with Nicolandria, there'll be no worries. There'll be no issues, but she wasn't truthful. And the reason why people are not so negative, like angry with Nick for being a popper, is because he never said certain words to Sierra that he said to Nicolandria. When he was like, oh, you're the girl, and then he changed it, Taylor's the guy for Nicolandria. He's very careful with his words. The things that Nick says to Sierra or he said to Sierra was not the same things he was saying to Nicolandria, and we can see that. I'm not for a Black woman being swindled. I have, I'm a Black woman, if you can't tell. And I ship Black women. So I'm not going to be for her for Delulu land. If she gets a chance to take the 100K, if she chooses to keep it for herself, that's cool. He's a nurse. He'll be all right. I'm saying I ship them for this experience. What they do with their life outside the villa is their business. But I do not believe that Nicolandria is comparable to Huda in any form, in any classification. She's not disrespectful to people. She does not crash out at strangers that she doesn't know. She was valid in her crash out. So I'll just leave it there. But I appreciate your.
That's not what I was saying. I wasn't saying that her crash out and Huda's crash out are the same. Nicolandria doesn't crash out. She actually suppresses her emotions and tries to. She does the opposite of a crash out. What the parallel that I was drawing is that the way Nicolandria actually conducts herself is problematic. Her way of conducting herself, though, is more problematic to herself than is her surroundings. Huda is actually problematic and affects the people around her. Alandria's problems is really only going to affect herself. I just really wish people would just come out and say that you guys really just want Alandria to have the money like we do with Amaya. Because this Nicolandria stuff is bullcrap. Now, if you just want Alandria to have the money because you feel bad, that's fine. Also, I said, I don't know if you were listening, if y'all were listening in the very beginning of what I said most people in this chat that are women can identify with Alandria's experience. That was literally the first thing I said. I said, we've all been sliding down the wall. We've had someone play in our face. What I'm saying is that the people who stand for Alandria seem to try to forget and get away from accountability because someone didn't say words that they wanted to hear. When his entire actions showed you how he felt. But because he didn't tell you verbatim, Alandria is a victim. She's not.
She was confused. His
Can I add
actions were
something?
he was doing. Sorry, yeah. I talk too much. Go ahead.
I really have.
That's okay.
I really
Okay,
have to.
so I do agree with Seaway, in the fact that there was actions that like she could have picked up on to let her know that Taylor didn't like her. I think the reason why people in the villa may be surprised about Taylor not liking her is because so I think there's either two things. It's either he was maybe doing things that made other people think that, or I think that maybe Alandria was so confident in the connection that she kind of boosted up the connection to everyone in the villa. So they kind of took on her perception like, yes, like Taylor's serious about her, like they're a strong couple, they're gonna go far because Alandria was boosting that like image to everyone. So, she sold that to them, so they all just, went with it because they never saw Taylor say anything like he didn't like her and stuff. But I think in private, the things that happened between him and her, she definitely should have picked up on that. I do disagree that like Ace, and I'm not gonna say Ace and Nick don't fuck with him for how he treated Alandria. I just like when he picked Clarke, I feel like Ace knew that okay, this is your downfall. Like we're not gonna be able to make it to the finals now because people aren't gonna like you. Like he just knew, like that was it. So, but Ace was trying to
What
he
happened?
knows if you.
We lost her.
Oh,
You back?
hold on, wait. Okay, maybe it was my AirPods. What I was saying was I think Ace wanted him to like, cause remember how he was trying to coach him, like, oh, you need to do this and that. I feel like Ace, if he was a real friend to Taylor, when Taylor said there was no physical attraction with Landria, he should have told him you need to communicate that. But no, he was giving him tips and tricks to stay in the connection with her so they can stay in the game. So I feel like the friends were just as disingenuous as him because it's like Ace wasn't even shocked that he picked Clarke. I think he was more so disappointed and how it's going to affect Taylor's game because now he knows that our plan for us to all be in the finals is crumbled because America's not going to like you anymore. So, but I think that the reason why I do watch this show is because just like from like a psychology standpoint of seeing how people behave in their relationships, it can help you with like understanding people, or even just being able to spot like green or red flags in people you date. So that's what I do like about that. But Alandria definitely has things to work on because she's like she disassociates a lot. She has problems being vulnerable, intimacy issues, like all these things that she needs to pretty much work on is the reason why her and Taylor didn't work out. Like even when he was clearly picking Clarke, she was still being delusional. Like it shouldn't take that much. Like all those actions and you still want him to say the words, like that actually is delusion. That's crazy. You
So
should
I
be able
want to
to
say
tell.
this. I want to say this right quickly because this false narrative that Taylor was lying to her, that is so untrue,
That's
right?
proven. It's not untrue. Sorry, I just
Uh, number one, Taylor never said they were exclusive. They were closed off.
I'm
They
not saying
were
that's what he
closed.
said.
Um, Number two, like she weaved this idea of he's a cowboy show. She kept weaving this idea on this is how it's going to be. We're going to be slow burning. Like she took his nonverbal communication and kept making concessions for it. So, for example, okay, so we don't kiss, we don't show affection because we have something deeper. We want something deeper. We don't want to go to that, right? That was never a conversation that they had with one another. That was her internalizing and making a concession, making a concession for the lack of physical affection that Taylor would show to her. That would be one example. Then also when and then the whole thing about picking Taylor over her. Part of that was understanding that one, she was off the mark, and number two, Jalen, right? Like you had a guy who was clearly interested with you, a guy that clearly communicated that you was his number one, a guy that clearly showed you the affection and things like that, right? But because of this story that you weaved in your head and the concessions that you were making along the way, because whenever you hear Olandria talk to the girls about it, about oh how we're doing this and how we're doing that, they never had a discussion between each other explaining that. And relationships, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, is about communication. They never sat there and said that, oh, we want to focus on an intellectual relationship more than a physical. That conversation never happened. And I'll rest my case there.
What the producers cut out and what they didn't. Y'all are doing as if the people that are giving you their testimonies are lying. They were surprised because they're not seeing the same things that we're seeing. We're seeing the inside conversations. Olandria says she asked him every single day. Every mother effing day were her words. And he never told her anything. I'm not saying she shouldn't be held accountable. Mind you, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they're both, if you want to say they're both equally responsible, fine, no problem, because she should be looking out for herself as well. She should have her eyes open. But she says she's been single for 5 years. She's looking for something serious. So she's going to be patient and deal. It's only been how many weeks? So you can't expect somebody to be tied down to you for how many weeks? You're going to give them time to adjust to you, get to know each other, what have you. Again, I'm not saying that she shouldn't have looked out for certain signs, but he was lying to her because that's what everybody was saying. They didn't say the words of, oh, he lied, but he did lead her on because to this day, he didn't apologize. To this day, if she felt like what he was doing was cool and the other people thought what he was doing was cool, then they wouldn't be upset with him. Then he would have.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Please continue. I'm sorry. Please continue.
And sorry, to go back to the other young lady, Olandria is not a saleswoman. I don't think she was going out around to the different islanders. Oh, me and Taylor's relationship is this. She was talking to her girls. Every conversation she had about herself and Taylor were based off of her conversations with Shelly. I'm not sure if Sierra was in that mix or Huda or what have you, but she's expressing her feelings. And there were some conversations that you could see with her and Taylor, as well as them in the phone booth pecking and kissing. He don't know how to kiss. He still kisses like a grandmother, like he was doing with Clarke. But in the sense of like this man was showing her quote unquote physical affection because that was their understanding of slow burning. He may not have rebutted it that we saw, but you guys don't know what conversations that they had. I don't think she was in the relationship by herself. However, his actions may not have matched up with his words that we saw. But other people, again, were surprised. The only person that was not surprised from the show was Ariana because she can see the inside conversations. She's watching like an audience member like us because she's not in the villa with them, right? So my point is that this girl is not 100% delusional or completely like insane to think that this man was for her. And she has a right to be upset. Yes, she should wised up sooner. Absolutely. But I feel as though if you're being cautious, you're not going to jump from one dude to another. She was trying to be loyal to Taylor over Jalen because, I mean, you know, she's like, I'm not just going to jump. Maybe just that's not how she does it. Did she pay the price for it? Yes. She got embarrassed twice because that man chose Taylor Clarke twice. So she was embarrassed twice.
But see, the thing about it is that when you look at when he chose Clarke, not many people were surprised. All
the girls were surprised, and the guys were surprised. Go back to that episode.
The girls are the biggest enablers, right? Huda crashes out, and they tell the Huda that she's still okay. The girls are never going to say are not going to keep it 100 with any of the girls. Not once do the girls keep it 100 with each other. So, but even
You're
them,
telling me Shelly wouldn't have told Landry not to get embarrassed? The girl that ran to her when she got
nope.
eliminated from Casa, she's not going to tell her to be careful about Taylor?
Shelly is an enabler. She has never
exactly.
It actually, if Alandria had a person around like me who's not going to mince words about stuff that I'm looking at, she wouldn't be in that situation. But she got too many people like you on the show with her trying to make excuses. And that's the reason why she's in the
Taylor is a gump. I would have told her Taylor was a gump. And he's too young for her. And, I mean, I think Nick is only like a year older than Taylor. But my point is that, no. I tell my friends how it is. I'm not going to be in your delusion with you.
Shelly. That was not Shelly. And that's not Shelly. And Amaya cries over every single thing.
It wasn't just Amaya. Everybody was confused. Go back to that episode.
One second. Hear me out. Please hear me out. Amaya cries about every single thing. Not one of the girls has called her out on it and say, "Baby, you gotta issue a little bit of self-control." All of the girls are enablers. There's no way you can get around that. I'm sorry. There's no way. None of the girls keep it in 100. None of them. Because if they did, know what? Hang on. Because if they did, Shelly is with Ace. Shelly would have told Ace, "Yo, what's up with your homeboy? Why, like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on?"
Well, we know that Ace was in the
Then she would have told her homegirl, like, "Yo, he ain't feeling you like that." But did she do that? No. Nobody keeps it 100, and I'll rest my case there.
Hannah said that she was getting bad advice from the girls. She said that she was into Charlie, and that or she was also into Pepe when he first came in, but they were like, "Oh, he's a player," or something like that. It was one of them guys that she was saying that she was getting bad advice, and that's why she went back to Charlie, because they were telling her, like, you know, he's being a smooth Casanova, and also that's why they eliminated her. She didn't say it, but that's what I got from her conversation. They eliminated her because Huda was trying to get with Pepe. That's really why Hannah went home. That's what she said in her interview, that she was really feeling Pepe. They got, real close and whatnot. So the girls, listen, they're scheming, scamming, whatever. It's a game, what have you. I just don't see how it's all Olandria's fault. She should have caught it. Nobody's superhuman. I'm not going to enable someone if I see something going wrong with my friends, but you can't put it all on Olandria, and you can't put it all on Taylor.
Who put it all on Alandria? Who did that?
No, I'm just making a statement. Like I said, I'm not trying to also be on the side of putting it all on Taylor either. I feel as though Alandria got what she deserved, which was get embarrassed twice. So you understand, he's gonna pick someone else, ma'am, if you don't open up your eyes. And Taylor got booted off for not apologizing, for not being straightforward and truthful. I feel as though this is a equal exchange of mistakes here. But comparing her or putting her in the same arena as Huda, having issues or what have you, I disagree. I feel like it's normal for Olandria to move the way she moved. That's normal, human regulatory emotions. I feel like people move similar to Olandria, have had experiences in that situation. And I feel as though she does a good job of communicating. She's not going to speak up in front of everybody. She says she's going to correct her partner in private. How do we know the producers didn't show us those situations where she was trying to talk to Taylor in private? She's not going to have those conversations in front of people that are not in her relationship, but Huda is going to broadcast it to the world. I mean, I don't even have to go to Huda's extremes, but I'm just going to advocate for Olandria not having emotional intelligence or emotional maturity. For me, I completely disagree. I mean, you guys have your opinions, but that's where I stand on it. I feel like Chick is okay. I feel like she's okay in the head, and hopefully she learns from her mistakes, because she definitely made some mistakes. But it's not for people to be crucifying her or tell her you got what you deserve. And we're not trying to put her on a princess arc, but I feel like it's cute that someone wants to quote unquote take care of her. Nick's intro was, I want to go and take care of someone. And I feel like he's actually doing that with Olandria. So if she's going to receive princess treatment from a white boy or a black boy or whoever wants to do it, I'm going to say it again. Nicolandria. Okay.
Lord have mercy. We can move on, I guess.
Listen, if this will make this stop, I'm supporting Nicolandria too. I'm shipping them right now. As long as we could just make this stop. I
have no problem with Nicolandria. But Taylor never lied. That's what I'm saying. Taylor never lied.
Team Nicolandria.
Thank you. Yes.
Team 40-year-old with a cat. 50-year-old with a cat.
Love it.
Don't do it, Seaway. Just please.
Yep, I love it. Nicolandria.
Team Nicolandria.
We should Nicolandria. that what you got?
Don't set
You
yourself
flipped
off.
them?
All
She
these
held it
Nicolandria
down.
people gonna be right asking Kojo for counseling, trying to figure out and coaching, trying to figure out why they ain't got a man and why their relationships ain't working. So yeah, Team Nicolandria,
Damn.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Yes, I'm Team
more money
Delulu
for
is the
Kojo.
Salulu. Kojo's
Listen, she
probably
held
still
it
not
down.
gonna
She held it
even
down.
support
Salulu
us in
is
Jeff.
a Salulu.
Please,
You
I
know,
just want to make it
she
stop.
held it down.
I just wanted to stop. I mean, I'll give you this shit though. I mean, your facts are lined up, boy. If I ever get into a legal situation next to Seaway, I want you part of my team counsel, because the way you are lining it up, it just sounds like it makes sense. So
That's how you confuse the jury.
because you good. Because I was like, wait a minute, Nicolandria for the win. Let's let them take it all the way.
The best compliment. I shook you guys. Thank you.
Man, none of that stuff.
And I
makes
never
sense.
say that.
They said you going to jail.
I said and Seaway. Notice I said and. I didn't say solely. I just said and.
You need a bit of both. Nothing wrong with that at all. Counsel's good, man. Do you know what I mean? Counsel's
My,
good,
my,
man.
my brother was a lawyer, so it's in the family. I got you.
You see?
You got it. You got it.
She lined it up, knocking him out the park. I'm not mad at it. Listen, look, I like the conversation because it's good to have the different perspectives. It's good to have the Nicolandrians on as well because we get to hear their perspectives. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of them.
I'm not
So
mad at it.
we love it.
And there is a lot of them. And of course, people have different motivations as to why they're shipping Nicolandria, and I have to be open to that as well. And so I totally get it. I just it's interesting. I think because. And maybe that's why I fight against it so much is that it's only a certain part of Nicolandria that I'm not agreeing with, and it's just like we ship between the idea of it's a game, and actually we want her to be treated like a queen, and it's like that aspect where he's treating you like a queen is part of the game, right? And actually, if someone's treating you like a queen with the objective of to sleeping with you. Is that really them actually really treating you like a queen, or they're starting to love bomb you? If they're treating you correctly while they're trying to line you up, then I have to ask that question. And I think that's the only aspect is that it's like I said that Nick was sexualizing her, and I'll tell you why. Because if you're my sister and you come and tell me that a man was kissing you in challenges, but at the end of the day, outside of it. He never pursued you. I'm gonna tell you, baby, he wants your panties and your drawers. So that's why I can't ship it. I can't ship it because he's made every excuse as not to pursue her before this. We said that Taylor was involved. What's Taylor got to do with her? What's Taylor got to do with him chasing her? What's Taylor got to do with him?
About that? It was because she said because of Taylor and Sierra. That's why he didn't pursue her after the kiss.
No, why did he go after Sierra? If Alondria was on his schedule, he went after Bella, he went after Sierra. Why couldn't he also go after Alondria?
That's
Someone
what I
said in the
was saying
comments that
earlier.
Taylor told him not to go after her. I don't remember saying that. I'll be truthful.
No, it wasn't on the show, but somebody, I forgot somebody. I
Taylor
think it
never
was
said that.
Bella, yeah. She
How come
said
how come Bella confirmed that? I don't even trust Bella either.
Yeah. because she wanted to pursue Taylor too, because we seen like what Bella's ex looks like Taylor, so that's her normal type she goes for. So she wanted to switch it up and go for Nick, but she was also talking to Taylor. And remember, after she got eliminated, she said like her and Taylor did have a connection, but the show didn't like put it on at all. And she was basically saying that whatchamacallit, Nick did want to pursue Nicolandria in the beginning, but I guess Taylor told him not to, like very early on, like within the first few days, so they never really got to like know each other. And so I guess he prioritized the friendship over that. But
how does she know that? How does she know that?
Because of the conversation.
They all live in the same place. Like
that's cap. See, this is the thing,
right? Bella doesn't have a reason to lie. So what?
I need more context. I will say I need more context, but I kind of do believe it because I think that Taylor knew that if I feel like Taylor was trying to also play the game too. Like, even though I might not be that into her, like I need to stick with her. So I could
See,
kind
but
of believe that he said that. I'm
this
not
is
gonna
all
lie, I believe
assumptions,
that.
right? People keep making all because I'm okay with Nicolandria. I'm okay with it. I have no problem with it. But what I do have a problem with is saying that a man, especially a black man, is doing all this heinous stuff without any evidence to prove. Like we don't know what the conversation was, and if Nick told her that, how do we know Nick wasn't playing the game, scheming behind them, right? Because at the end of the game, at the end of the day, everybody's playing the game. So if Nick told Bella that, how do we know that Nick is not lying? Because Nick wants the money just like everybody else. And that's the thing. Like all the things that Alandria was saying, we never saw the conversation between Alandria and Taylor. So all I'm saying is this: I like it's hard pressed for me to believe that Taylor was just like outright lying to this girl. I think Taylor tried his best because Ace pushed him to do it, and then when he did found a normal, natural connection, he chose that, and people crucified him for that.
He wasn't still honest with Olandra when he found Clarke. That's
Right.
also
Like
an
he
issue.
needs
That's
to take
we
Good point.
saw that.
responsibility.
We
Well, he
all,
said
I
he
mean,
was.
no problem with you finding Clarke. Beautiful, beautiful. But communicate to Olandria. He still said, I'm looking to explore you too with his big mouth. No, you're looking to explore Olandria. Why don't you just tell her? Put her aside and be like, listen, I respect you. I think you're bad, but I think I found a true connection here. And I don't want you to miss out on an opportunity to explore all these other Casa dudes that had come back. Like, I mean, for me, it's just diabolical because you really made that girl believe she was something with you. She could have been exploring Nick.
No.
I
Uh,
do agree that he.
what?
Did he not eliminate her though? Did he
He
not?
tried
When
to,
he,
he tried
wait,
to, but
let me
Nick
finish.
saved
I know,
her.
Chanel.
He
Let's
tried,
read
but Nick
together.
saved her. I'm sorry.
This is why
Inhale,
she can't be your attorney. She don't
inhale,
listen.
and
She don't
exhale.
listen. She
Did
don't
he?
listen.
But wait, was he willing to get her sent home from Fiji back to Houston, where she resides?
Oh,
Yes or no?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So if somebody, no matter what they said to you prior, if somebody said, all right, I want to go with this new person and me picking them means you go home, what would you think?
That's why I said she got herself embarrassed. And I said those are her mistakes, those are her consequences. That was
But
why I said she got what she deserved by getting embarrassed. My thing is though, she didn't know that Taylor was her op in that deliberation,
what?
and
But
Nick was her knight in shining armor in that deliberation. She wasn't privy to it. We were, so we didn't
but
see that
see,
Taylor was her op.
when Taylor said I'm going to explore both, Nicolandria and her fans heard I'm still going to choose you. She's just some bop on the side. That's what y'all heard.
No, we
When he
didn't. We were trying to get Taylor off. We've been trying to get him off.
he said I'm exploring both, and he chose Clarke. When he said I'm choosing both, y'all heard I'm still into you. That's what y'all heard.
No,
So
I'm
Never
telling
said
you with
that.
my own mouth that no, that's not what we heard. Remember, Taylor was in the bottom with was it Charlie and Huda. Taylor was in the bottom because we didn't want him there. We saw what mess he was doing to Olandria. We've never wanted Taylor from for Olandria since. We've been seeing what's been going
The
on.
point is he
She
didn't lie to her.
hasn't.
The point is he didn't lie to her. That's my point. He didn't lie to her. Whether you want him or not, hey, that's cool. I'm with Nicolandria. But the point is he didn't lie to her. He said I'm going to explore both, and then when he was pushed to make a decision, he made a decision.
But he didn't. He never wanted to explore her. Is my point. When he told, okay, after Clarke, let me just be fair to Taylor. After Clarke, we all know, and he knows, he never wanted to explore Orlandria after he found Clarke. But he did not. He was not honest with her and tell her, "Hey, this ain't gonna happen no more. I'm with Clarke." He never did that until he was forced to at the mailbox challenge because she was
So
still
I,
confused, and that's
right.
why she crashed out.
I can work with that.
I think the
I can work
same
with that.
way we were just trying to hold
I
Chris
disagree, but
accountable earlier for not like telling his feelings to Huda. Huda is the same way that you can say that about Taylor because it seems like he didn't want the confrontation or like the fallout or whatever would come with him telling Alandria that he didn't really have a genuine interest in her. And so he kind of just led her on until he got with Clarke. Even after Clarke, he was saying, I'm going to explore both. But it was very clear that he was not making an effort to pull her talk to her, do anything. So he was really just exploring Clarke. So again, like I'm not saying that it's 100% his fault or 100% Alondria's fault, because I do think they both hold responsibility in that Taylor should have spoken up. Because like I said, I've watched other seasons of the show, and there's people that have been in friendship couples, meaning like we don't see each other as lovers, like there's no romantic interest there, but we're going to remain together for now until someone else comes along that we are interested in. So he could have definitely proposed that to her, because there obviously was a friendship there. There was, like, you know, they had a connection there. It may not have been all the way romantic, but he definitely could have proposed that. But instead, he did lead her on to think that it was going to be more. And so she felt very blindsided when he found that connection with Clarke and then chose Clarke over her. But again, Alondria herself was also being a little delusional.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That is incorrect. Because I'm going to be really quick. Number one, when it was just him and Nicolandria, he put in minimal effort. Effort. People complained about that. When Clarke comes in, he's still going to, I'm going to explore you both. They had a side conversation. Him and his homeboy Ace says, well, I don't know, like, Clarke is different here and there, but I'm still going to explore both, right? Now, when he was exploring them both for that period of time, he was touchy-feely with Clarke. He wasn't touchy-feely with Nicolandria, but he was never touchy-feely with Nicolandria. He never changed up. How he treated Nicolandria before, about like giving her minimal effort. Afterwards, he still gave her minimal effort.
Correct. I'm not. So that's
not true.
That's not my point, though. What I'm saying is he gave the minimal effort from the beginning, and I said this earlier that Nicolandria should have picked up on that, but because of her own intimacy issues, she saw that as him being respectful of not wanting to make the connection too physically based. But what I'm saying is she interpreted that wrong, that it wasn't that. It was the lack of physical attraction for why he was moving that way with her. So yes, he gave her minimal effort from the beginning, even when Clarke came. He was always moving that way with Nicolandria. So that's where I say she needed to take responsibility and be able to pick up on the cues and have discernment. But he should have spoken up to say that he did not really like her like that.
My point is this, because whether we know if he really liked her or not, I mean, that's all assumption, right? But my point is this: if he would have changed up and gave her more effort, that would have been the lie. If he would have changed up and did something different, that would have been a lie. By him keeping it consistent, doing what he did before, I find it hard to believe that you can say that this man was lying in her face. And I'll leave it there. He was.
I'm not gonna lie. Thinking that way is low-key dangerous. Like, this is like those people who think that they're not lying just because they omit the truth. You're still lying. Like, just even if you don't say something, if you mislead someone or make someone think something else that's not true, that's still deception in some sort of form.
Amaya, your brain is all correct. Thank you.
So it doesn't matter if he said it. Like, that's like somebody saying, "Oh, just because you didn't tell me something," like that is manipulative. That's a way that people manipulate, just saying like, "Oh, just because I didn't explicitly say this," like, no, you're not gonna do that. Like, that's deception still. So it's deception.
Giving bare minimum is not leading people on. I'm sorry. Giving the bare minimum and having your friends push you to do stuff is not leading you on. I'm sorry.
That's your perception. That's not hers.
Back to Nicolandria too. She shouldn't have accepted the bare minimum.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know we want to debate a little bit about, but you have to acknowledge that giving somebody a false impression of how you feel is leading them on. I mean, Taylor did lead her on. He wasn't telling her the truth. He was trying to manifest the connection and an attraction to her when it didn't exist, and wasn't telling her that. So that is leading her on, making her feel like you see a future with her, but really you kind of didn't. That's
he never told her.
And then
that's not what he said to her. She's moving like he did, so why not believe her? She's not crazy.
I also want to add that he did also when the guy Jalen came in the villa, he did put 10 on 2, and he has to own his part there because that wasn't right. But also,
I'll give you that.
He did do too much, but we have to keep in mind this is the reason why people still don't want to vote for Ace and Shelly. Everything that Taylor did, Ace was right there trying to aid and abet. Honestly, Taylor's biggest downfall to me is the fact that he doesn't think for himself. Because in the beginning, he was trying to do what I think he would have done outside of the villa and tell Shelly, hey, I'm not Shelly, Alandria, hey, I'm not really attracted. That's what his first mind was to do, was to be honest. But then Ace was over there plotting and scheming, X, Y, and Z. No, you can't tell her that. You need to do X, Y, and Z. And then Taylor nodded and agreed, and it was downhill from there. Because I think Ace did know that if Taylor would have told the truth to Alandria probably could have found somebody else temporarily, and then Taylor was going to go home. So Ace gave him the advice to keep Taylor on the show. And that's why I've always said, I'm not saying that Taylor is innocent. I didn't agree with Hot Sauce. I'm not saying he didn't lead her on. Only thing my point has been from the beginning is it just seems like pushing this Nicolandria thing is missing where Alandria went very dangerously wrong. And to encourage this Nicolandria relationship, to me, is setting Alandria up for, if she was able to see this outside of it, more of the same type of miscues and missteps. That's all I'm saying. But Taylor's been held accountable. I think even more so. I think everyone knows that he led her on to some degree. He let Ace tell him what to do. And then when he finally found probably the best relationship we even had this season between him and Clarke, nobody wanted to see it because no one wanted to reward that type of behavior, especially because it's triggering to women.
Clock it.
I believe it's triggering to women. And so I've never, as a woman, I'm not going to ever say I don't understand why it's triggering to women. But I think for me to sit and watch Alandria's delusion and to watch women encourage her delusion, that's also scary to me, because it's like, that's how you end up in cycles. And then every man that you're with is a narcissist and a manipulator. And you never start to sit down and think, where am I playing a part in this? That's all I'm saying.
Bars. I'll agree with you on that. I'll agree that he was a tiny bit misleading when Jalen came in. I'll give you that.
Tiny bit.
Concede a little bit.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
And that low key comes back to Ace too, because I feel like if he also what I wanted to say was what you brought up about Ace like coaching him, very, very true. Because Jeremiah, after he came out of the villa, he said that week 1, Ace was telling everybody like, oh, this is how you play the game. You should all be exploring. And then like he kept reiterating it as the weeks went on. And by like week 2, when he told Jeremiah that same thing, Jeremiah was like, yeah, I'm not on what y'all on. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm doing it my way. And then like that's kind of where like that beef started too, I think, because he was trying to coach the guys and the only one who was not listening was Jeremiah. And he didn't like that, like that defiance. But Taylor definitely was getting coached by Ace and following that. But I feel like if Ace had not told him that, and if he wasn't so much of a yes man and wasn't like seeking the other guy's approval and was authentic to himself, he would have told Alandria in week 1 that I think there's just a friendship here and nothing more. But
I agree that
never happened.
I can agree to that. I think that's right.
With that point being said, I think that's an important point you've landed on, really, right? Because, first and foremost, Ace is as a top manipulator. But anyway, but as that said, that's even more reason why you can't ship Nicolandria. Actually, more reason why you can't. Because even though we're saying it's a game, if she has to spend the next 2 weeks with Nick, what happens if she actually does fall? She's fucked, right? Because now she's really going to care about someone who also is a part of the Ace, underneath the Ace umbrella. If you're saying that Taylor was influenced by Ace, Nick also too, in some aspects, will be influenced by Ace, because Ace is that seemingly the head honcho in that space, and where Nick is doing whatever he's doing. So, how would you be able to be okay shipping Nicolandria, knowing that Nick still has great ties, close ties, very brotherhood ties with someone like Ace. In fact, if you were to transport this outside realms and you knew that someone like Ace was a friend of the man that was dating one of your girls, would you not be saying, you need to be wary, girl? I mean, old boy out here, he rolls with this particular man and he does all these things. Would you not be wary? Like, so that's why I said that you can't ship this thing for Nicolandria, because we're saying it's a game, but then saying at the same time, you know, oh, but you know, she deserves to find love. She deserves to be liked. She deserves to be appreciated. I'm saying to you, yeah, the person's rolled and manipulated the whole entire time and betrayed 2 people. You think that Nicolandria won't be next? As much as you want to ship it, you think she won't be next? You know what I mean? Like that's the part I'm looking at. You know what I mean?
I feel like y'all are deep in it too
Clock
much.
it.
I think y'all are deep in it too much. This is not marriage. They're not walking down the aisle tomorrow.
Who is
I mean,
this?
I get that, but at the same time,
Who just made that comment about we're deeping it too much?
Oh,
I
Chanel.
did. Sade, I did.
Oh, Sade, I'm sorry.
I really don't think that I hear what you're saying, Coach O. I do. I don't think that Ace is a malicious, insidious conspirator, nor do I think Nick is. For justice for Jeremiah, I do feel that too. I was one of the people that signed the petition for him to get. I found that petition, boy, and I really wanted Jeremiah to go back on because I didn't I thought they did him dirty. I did, but I don't feel like it's a TV show. Just like we've been saying with the death threats and all this, it's not that deep. Some people, I think the reason why Love Island has gotten so popular is because of last season, and we saw those 3 relationships are still going strong. But prior to that, I think it was like 2 other relationships from the last 7 seasons that has made it. So these people don't stay in these relationships. I'm not saying it for them. I'm not saying it's not possible, because I mean his parents are fully involved. And I think somebody asked in the comments about Olandria's family. Are they involved? Yes, the mother was like side-eyeing Nick, but this was from like week 1, so we don't really know her updated opinion. I think we'll find out when the family visits this week. But I'm not seeing wedding bells, even though I did post it on my stories, an edited photo. But my point is, I think it's fun. I think it's cute, the Nicolandria stanship. I don't see them walking down the aisle tomorrow. I know that Olandria is looking for a husband. Nick is looking for someone to take care of. But I feel as though with everyone in their lives, they're not going to enable them. I feel as though they have an opportunity to look back on this and watch the episodes, really see, is this person for me, etc. They can make their own decisions. They're not babies. They're full-on adults. But as far as we're in the villa for the next 4 days, Nicolandria, like, I'm not going to back down. Yes, there's red flags all around. I'm trying to think. Does everybody have red flags? But
that's kind of not like
you just blew me with that take now.
Yeah, Sade, you losing me.
Right? Because there has been people that met on Love Island and got married. There has been people that met on Love Island and have babies together.
I'm talking about USA. There's only 1 couple that's engaged. Everybody else is just in a regular relationship.
And then 1 person has been engaged. Yeah. So I mean, like, you know, I mean, this season has really made the game horrible. I'm sorry.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
I love you, Shay. Can I just tell you that? I don't say that lightly, you know?
I appreciate you. I feel the love back.
She really doubles down on her points. I can appreciate.
Yeah, she does. Even with reflect.
You be all over the place though, because
who do we have last time?
The whole thesis statement on how Nicolandria is into Nick is into Nicolandria, and then you said it's not that deep. That's what told me.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie, it is deep because you're not gonna embarrass me on TV. It is deep. You're not gonna embarrass me on TV.
They said they found
that clip of Taylor embarrassing her?
Is it Sade?
What happened?
No, Easton is his own entity.
They done gave you the best compliment they could. They done called you Tequila Easton. Woo, that's big shoes to fill.
What they say? I can't. I'm sorry. I'm slow, guys. What's happening?
They called you.
No, they were comparing you to one of our panelists that's regular on here. They were saying, you know, the lady version. So yeah, they were just comparing.
I think because
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
You done talked us around, and so we done made it back to the starting point.
We're gonna have to ship Nicolandria.
I shipped
Okay.
Nicolandria because I spotted it. I thought I was by myself. I was casually watching it because I enjoyed last season, and I saw two black girls again. I was like, okay, I gotta support. And I saw his comment about Nicolandria. I saw Nick's comment about Olandria, and I was like, okay, well, he's moved on. You know, people are on him. It's fine. And then they double back, and then I saw that not just Jessie Wu, you know, she was a great addition to it, but just other people like standing them. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I followed the breadcrumbs, unfortunately, to TikTok. And I saw the videos and I was like, this is legit. Like, this is actually something that's really cute. I don't see wedding bells. If there is, wonderful. I'll definitely support. But I feel like it's just a cute, fun distraction to our lives, y'all. Like, it's cute.
You know what I do love about Nicolandria, though? Is that black women are normally always on the right side of history. Like, we normally get it right. And this whole Nicolandria thing, black women are definitely getting it wrong. But I love that for us because it's pissing everybody off. They just can't believe that we are just all for this delusion and celebrating this, whatever. And so, you know what, Nicolandria folks, please be on the wrong side of history and keep going. It's pissing everybody off. It's making the black men mad. They're livid. They said, "I want y'all white men fantasies."
Black men are not angry about Nicolandria at all.
Oh no, a lot of them are mad. A lot of them really can't stand this Nicolandria thing.
I think they can't stand it because I think the standard is so low. That's why. Yeah, because what ends up happening is that if it was like how we want Taylor, they couldn't forgive Taylor. It's like the standard is so low. It's like you can't ship something that's so low in standard. You know what I mean? Like, and he's getting a pass because he is white. I'm going to be honest with you. You would not be if Nick was black, we would not be shipping it this way. I can guarantee you wouldn't.
It's
like,
true.
We're shipping it because he is white. That's part of the reason why. It's like, and I think that's why people are so maybe that's why black men are so frustrated about it. Me personally, I just see a comedian. I can't lie to you because let me just now. If a man wants to, he would have. I'm sorry, no matter how you put it, if this man wanted to, he would have. None of the conversation in the beginning about Taylor wanting her and that's why he didn't give her. If Taylor was really what scared him, he wouldn't be kissing her in challenges. He wouldn't be kissing in the beginning in the challenges. He wouldn't be stealing a kiss when they're all blindfolded. He wouldn't be doing that. Just go and get her, bro. But he doesn't. See, there's something about men you have to understand, right? Some of you, for us, I'm going to say something real nasty now. Keep it real. Some of you, for men, you are in a bracket where you know what? You're not bad, but you're not good. Like we can do some things with you, but we can't wife you. And that's just the reality of it. And that's how I see Nick and Olandria. It's like, I like you enough to be cool around you, but I'm never going to wife you. Like, I can consider it and I'm thinking about it at times, but I never ever take that step. And that's actually sometimes where you are actually standing. Because if that man wanted to, he would have done it already. If he really wanted to, if he wanted you and he wants you, I'm telling you now, if me and Sean said, listen, leave that girl alone, he gonna go for it. Sure, did we not have a conversation last year about the situation, something very similar? I didn't care about a particular situation. I told you, Sean, I don't care. I'm going to keep going for it. When a man wants to, he does not care about anybody or any obstacle in the way. So that the excuse of Taylor said something, please, the brother was kissing Sierra and Bella in the same household and doing it in secret, doing it in a photo booth, then going to kiss another girl in the same place. It's an excuse. And I think that's where I'm scared for people back in the Nick thing. Is like, I know we're going to talk about it's a game, but you know it's not a game because their feelings are involved. So it's not a game. So when we say that, when we're shipping the Nick thing, I'm like, you can ship it all you want, but let's keep it a buck. That man, if he wanted to, would. And all of this is game playing. So actually, it's not cute. Because actually, he's game playing her. So if she starts to fall for him and really does fall for him, we could actually be in really big trouble. And then by that time, you can't be saying, well, you know, it was nice while it lasted. No, not when her heart's on the line. It might be too late by then. You know what I'm saying to you? So, you know, let's see if it goes for it.
It's deep, Kojo, because I think a lot of black women, when they see someone as beautiful as Olandria, body T, looks like looks like something out of, I mean, right. Honestly, what I think is going on, and it is very psychologically deep, and I don't think people are ready to unpack it. They feel like if someone as beautiful as Olandria can be set up by a Taylor and lose, then in many ways they lose. And so they think a win is Nicolandria. And unfortunately, to me, I think what some people are trying to scream is Nicolandria is not a win. It's still a loss. She lost from the moment, unfortunately, that she got looped up with Taylor and his whole situation. And so because of that, they're trying to get Alandria some win. They can't handle the fact that someone as beautiful as Alandria, because there's so many beautiful black women out here being done bogus by Dusties. That is just kind of the state, unfortunately, of black women now. Beautiful, successful, all the things, right? Getting done dirty by Dusties, all the things, right? And so we see it on our TV. People feel like Alandria was done not good in the same way. I'm going to leave her delusion aside. I've already talked about that. And so they want her to have a happy ending. And I feel like the Nicolandria haters are like a pin in the bubble. And I feel like I'm a bubble buster right now. I'm just saying, guys, that's not a win. Nick is a bop. He's been fake to everybody. Every single person on the show, whether platonic friends, he's the same person who went to Hood to talk about, I support you, people don't understand you. And
Diabolical, yes.
And then did her bogus 5 seconds later. He has voted his friends off. The whole situation that Kojo said, Nick is not a serious human being. He's not a serious human being. So all I want to say, my last thing to the Nicolandria people, hear my soul, hear my heart here. This is not a win. It's not a win. A win is her taking her pride and leaving, growing and learning from where she went wrong with Taylor, all the things, and being able to spot people being disingenuous with her. And then move on and find a person who values her. Because Nick doesn't value anything. He's just a bopper. So that's my TED Talk. That's it.
Well, so on that note, Bopper, we're moving it to Brian and Amaya. Let's talk about this because we talk about scammers. Is Brian a scammer? Is Brian a scammer in this situation? Is Brian a scammer? I'm asking that question for you guys. Is Brian a scammer?
I don't know how to raise my hand up on this app. I'm
That's okay. There's no raising hands on here, so you're good.
I'm gonna make a 20 seconds, just avocation. I heard everything you say. I don't want to say that it went in one ear out the other. It didn't. But Nick did say, he looked Alondra dead in her eyes. He said, the Nick that was in here from week 1 and week 2 is not the same Nick as today. And he was looking dead at Alandria's face. He did say that during the mailbox challenge. I do want to make that note real quick and we can move on.
No worries at all. Don't worry. We'll talk about that. Listen, next time we'll talk about some more. We'll have a separate live for the Nicolandrians. Don't worry. Brian and Amaya, talking about them. Brian and Amaya, is it a scam? Is it a win? I want to know your thoughts. Are we backing this move between Brian and Amaya? They went into that hideaway and did some things.
I'm for Brian and Amaya for the win. If not Iris and Pepe, I want one of those two guys to win. I think Amaya is just as delusional as Alandria. Sorry to not trying to trigger people, but I think Amaya is just as delusional. I think Brian, he's just enjoying the cheeks right now, to be honest. Right, he's just enjoying the cheeks, to be honest. I don't see them as a long-term thing, but Amaya's good looking, he's getting the cheeks, and there's nobody else coming in, so why not?
I'm not buying it. Brian and Amaya. Kojo has said in like other lives, like I feel like this is apparent, like why the guys keep saying what they say about her. And I love Amaya, by the way, but I do feel that she doesn't allow the man to show their interest. Like she chases them and doesn't really give them the opportunity to pursue her or show, like prove that they are interested outside of just words. Like she doesn't give them a chance to put actions to it. So I don't know. I feel like Brian knew that there was really no one else he could go after. And like he did say he thought her and he wanted to talk to her, but he also said he wanted to talk to Jaden and he approached Jaden first. So I do kind of feel like at the same time, like, I mean, I get it. Like it's all about exploring, but I do feel like if Jaden was still here, then he would be going after her and not Amaya. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like this is what's left. Like, not to say, not to like put Amaya down in that way, because like I do think he is like attracted to her, and he like obviously enjoys having her be all about him. But I feel like I don't I'm not sold on it being 100% genuine on his end. Not yet. Like I would need to see something more from him.
I don't buy it. I think Brian did the right thing for standing up for Amaya during the mailbox challenge, and that's where it ended. And I feel as though he may think that she's attractive because Amaya is a very beautiful woman, very beautiful. She would, some might say she's, a lot of people's preference, light skin, beautiful eyes, great, physique. She's very intelligent. That's been proven time and time again. I don't think that she's lacking in a lot of places. My personal opinion, it might be what's endearing to America, but she's missing a bit of self-control, in my opinion, as far as her physical, like, because Zach said he didn't really want to kiss her. And not to say that he wasn't attracted to her, because he was, but she wasn't reading the room or their chemistry in order for that to happen. She's made a lot of the first moves with most of these guys. I'm trying to think like who kissed her. Maybe back with Ace and Austin, but I don't even remember their interaction like that. But after Casa and during Casa, she's literally been the one to kind of throw herself on these men. And I don't like that because she literally does not need to. She has a lot going for her. So I don't know where she missed the point or the plot as far as like she can be the prize and men will literally probably fall at her feet if she kept a demure. And I'm not saying that she should, because I'm not telling her to change her personality. You can still be a woman that wears your heart on your sleeve without throwing yourself at men. That's what I see. I'm not putting her down for it. That's just what I'm observing. And I feel as though if I guess how you present yourself can be a turnoff, or maybe not necessarily a turnoff, but a deterrent to people. They're still kind of trying to fish you out. Men like being hunters is what I've heard. I'm not a man, but this is what I've heard time and time again. And so she's not giving them an opportunity to, chase her or hunt for her. And I don't blame her. She doesn't want to play in games. She's not a no nonsense woman. She can process things. So I know that she's quite intelligent. She knows that she's a sensitive gangster. She said it before. So she knows she has a lot of great self-esteem. And I admire that about her. I think that's what America admires about her. But I don't like that she's too open without, like someone said, without them proving themselves to her. Prove yourself. If you really want me, then do something, or at least show that. Brian was the one sitting back with his elbows on the couch of the speakeasy, and she's like sitting like a puppy dog, literally panting for him. It really pissed me off. I'm not pissed off at Amaya. The whole setting just pissed me off. It just turned me off. And then he's like, come here. And she go like, ew. For me, it was a turn off. I think other people thought it was sexy. I did not. I was completely turned off by it. And I feel like Amaya does not need to do that. She could literally be like, you come here, and he probably would have. And I feel as though Brian is just going with the flow. I think he's like, let me not limit her because other people have made that mistake. Let me not limit her personality. Let me let her, I don't think that he's a scammer, but I think he sees what's going on and he's like, let me ride this wave. And he's like, let me not F it up. I think he knows how to navigate himself in a situation like this where the woman has the upper hand or she has, more to offer him than he has to her. So he's just like, let me go with the flow. She's like life outside of the villa. I don't know. I don't know. He might play it up for America, but for me, I'm not bought because I didn't see enough of him pursuing her or being worthy of her prior to, it being known that America loves her. So I don't buy it.
Oh, I also wanted to add, I just saw earlier today some like interview that Zach did, and he was saying that they didn't show his mailbox because like for the stand your business, I think, challenge with the mailbox thing, they didn't show everybody, and they didn't show his, and he said that he got a lot of them, and some of them were from Amaya, and he said they were mean. Like they were saying like, are you here for love or are you here for the bros or something like that? And so that's why he had that reaction to her. Like that's why it seemed like he just dogpiled on her out of nowhere, because he was upset about what she said about him when it was his turn to go. And so then, of course, Brian came in and stood up for her. And I think that was like a big contribution for why Amaya then felt like, okay, I'm going to go for Brian because he was defending me. But some people could also say that maybe he just saw that as an opportunity too, to kind of defend her and maybe like show his interest in a way. So that's why I don't like, I do think that there is a part of like gameplay in like him pursuing her, because it just came out the blue. Like I think in the interview Zach was saying too, like he didn't think like he was genuinely interested in her because he had never really expressed that or like said anything about it or up until after that moment. So that's why I'm not buying it all the way.
I don't trust
So,
Zach either.
I
He
mean,
might be
yeah,
right,
but
I don't trust
I think
him.
there's some context though until
Yeah.
like things that we're missing that they edited out. That's like why some things seem one way. Because like also editing comes into place. Like there's conversations we don't see, there's things we don't know, so that could also affect the dynamics. But she was definitely just too ready to like pursue Brian, and he was just like, he didn't really have to. He didn't have to do anything really. So I just hate that because I wanted someone to show more interest or, I don't want to say earn her love, but at least like do something nice for her to show that they genuinely like her. Because it seems like everyone always shows interest in Amaya when there's no other options because all the other girls are more locked off. Like they can't go after Shelly because they know she's so locked in with Ace. Nobody wants to go after Huda because the girl's a little off her rocker. And like
He's
the other
unstable.
girls are
Yeah.
just like, yeah, emotionally unstable. So it seems like Amaya is like the best choice because they know that when they pursue Amaya, she is going to be receptive to it more than the other girls. So it's like tricky.
And it's telling that during Casa Amor that no one picked her. Like, I'm confused. I mean, I would like to get their insight, like their genuine, honest insight. We may never get that, but there's a reason why nobody picked her during Casa Amor.
Because she's a turnoff. Amaya's personality is a turnoff, and Huda's personality is a turnoff. Right? The crying and walking on eggshells is not fun for men. Right? Nobody wants to be in a relationship where you feel like you got to walk on eggshells, and Amaya puts you in that position a lot of time. And who wants to deal with that?
Yeah, I think the same way that some of the guys that have been coupled up with Huda, how they feel that like if they speak their mind, it's gonna result in like an emotional confrontation
Yeah.
that's obviously gonna be uncomfortable for them. But it's also like who wants to argue with someone? Like in real life, if I know that someone's gonna be argumentative when I bring up something that they did that bothered me, I'm more likely to just be like, yeah, like it would take a lot more to initiate that. So I think a lot of the guys, they
You,
want to be able to have like a smoother connection, and like with Amaya's not guaranteed.
yeah, because I mean, like you can be pretty, but your attitude can make you ugly. And with Maya, man, like one, she talks a lot. You can't get words in, and number two, you constantly have to think about what you're going to say because if you say the wrong thing, she's going to be crying, and then you got to say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way," and all this and that, right? So you're going to be walking on eggshells, and I don't think, regardless of how pretty she is, most people don't want to put themselves in that kind of situation. And I know this is not the topic, but Chris, bro, you need to hit the "I'm going to the store and never come back" move real quick. And because if I'm Chris, I would just walk out. But that's another topic. But anyway, so with Amaya and Brian, I don't think they're scamming one another, but I just think it's just opportunity, right? She's good looking. There's nobody else. There's nobody coming in. So I'm getting kisses. I'm getting sex and an opportunity for 100 grand. I mean, why not? And then for her, right? I can he's a lot like he's not complaining because every relationship I've been in with Ace to I forgot the other guy's name, the guy what's his name who after Ace, who was she with after Ace, the
Austin.
white guy?
Austin.
Austin, yeah. From Ace to Austin to even Zach, everybody has complained on how I am and why I am, right? So Brian is the only one that hasn't complained at all. So it's a win for her too. So I just think it is what it is, right? It's just a relationship of convenience, right? He's tolerating me. I'm getting sex and chance for 100K. He's tolerating me, and I got a chance for 100K. So I don't think anybody's scamming anybody. I just think this is just a situation of coincidences, if that makes sense.
I think that Amaya is genuine. I already said the reasons why. But somebody in comments said that why aren't we saying that Brian is sexualizing Amaya? And somebody was like, "Oh, it's the same thing." No, why don't we say it out loud? Brian literally has been sexualizing Amaya, because I need that to be in the ether. I really need that to be said out loud, because I'm not appreciating how Brian is. Again, I'm not buying it. I don't know his full intentions. I just don't buy it. I don't think that Amaya is used. I think she knows she has to be in a couple to make it there, but I think that she genuinely thinks that her and Brian are going to ride off into the sunset and they're going to end up being together, because she wears her heart on her sleeve and she goes all in 0.2 seconds. And it's like she doesn't see the natural progression of how a relationship should go. You need to mature. She does need to change. Maybe not her personality, but the way she goes about relationships, absolutely, she needs to change. There needs to be some level of security check. Like, are we doing background checks? Are you like jaded? Like, what are we doing? Everyone has access to you. Not to say that, the point of the, villa is kiss whoever, whatever. But like, baby, like, you've known Brian how many days though? And I'm not trying to shame her. Maybe I am, and I apologize if that's how it's coming across. But last season, Janae and Kenny were definitely, locked in, but they didn't do anything in the villa. And I am comparing them. I don't mean to. It's not on purpose. But I'm saying, like, you don't, because you go to the hideaway does not mean that you need to do anything or go all the way there. It's not by force. Nobody is forcing you. So you're doing it because you want him to have access to your body, but why? And yes, he's absolutely sexualizing her. He's riding it for whatever he can, however long he can. Talking about it's like I lost my virginity. No, it's not. It's really not. But whatever. I'm sorry. I need it. Let me back up.
I have to question your motives a little bit, because I don't understand how he's sexualizing Amaya, because when Amaya came back, she was like, "We went on our journey 2 times. He ate that cat." Matter of fact, they were singing "Eat That Cat in the Hideaway." The girls were literally singing that. So how in the world is this man sexualizing her?
Are you very serious right now?
I'm super serious.
Nick is sexualizing Olandria, but Brian is not sexualizing Amaya, who he actually had sex with. Are we okay?
I never said that Nick was sexualizing Alondra. I said this show is sexually charged. Everybody is sexualizing everybody.
So then, but you're now saying that Brian is not sexualizing Amaya,
because the way you're using it is in a negative way, the way that you understand it, and that's why I'm a little bit lost. Because if you're saying that everybody,
you guys use it, I want to use it the way that you guys are using it.
So what I'm
that we're gonna move on from that. I mean, I thought I clarified that.
No, this show is just about sex. So if you mean it in that way, then okay, sure, I agree with you, because this show is just about sex.
Yeah, we can just drop the sexualization of it all, because I think it's just going to take us down an unnecessary rabbit hole, especially when you're talking about two people that actually had sex with each other, consensual sex, and that's Brian and Amaya. So I think trying to compare that to Nick and Nicolandria, it's not a drain that we need to circle.
Right, because they literally say, "Eat that kitty in the hideaway," literally singing that.
I'm okay to drop it. Thank you, London, for bringing that comment to light. I would love the definition of sexualization, but we're going to move past it. So I'm going to try to be a mature adult and move past it. No problems. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, I just think it's a relationship of convenience. My opinion. Yes, and he ate it too, twice, apparently.
Listen, I like Amaya. You know, I don't necessarily want to go down a think piece of why I like her, but I like her. You know, is she too much? 100%. You will never have me saying that she doesn't need to tone it down. But I do like her. You know, I think she's cool. I think she gives great advice. I love how she played it down the middle. I talked about that earlier. For those who may have missed it, very earlier. You know, she gave some good advice to Chris and good advice to you know, to Huda. I don't like how she was ganged up on a little bit in the beginning, especially during the stand on business challenge. You know, when Austin found an opportunity to, you know, say something that he never really said to her, and then Zach chimed in and Ace, you know, I didn't like that. And I do like that America is supporting her. But at the end of the day, I think she needs to calm down, take it down several notches. She's speeding. And I'm 50-50. Somebody said in the chat earlier, I'm 50-50 on whether Brian is scamming her. I kind of think he likes her. He stood up for her a little bit during Stand on Your Business. I think they have some cultural connections. That's all I'm willing to risk. He might be a scammer. I really don't know. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Amaya Papaya of it all. Where's Master Kojo?
I mean,
said,
sorry. I mean, yes, so you gonna say something, Chanel?
No, I was gonna speak on your behalf and say what you were doing. Just gonna make up a random excuse.
No, I was pumping some iron. But okay, if no one's got any more to say about Amaya Papaya, we've got one last one. We've got to do Iris and Pepe before we end as well. And by the way, Chanel, I actually agree with you. I think Brian is sexualizing Amaya. So personally, there's no difference for me. I think they're sexualizing him. I just don't care. So I don't really talk about it much. But he definitely is sexualizing her. So I actually agree with you. Iris and Pepe, what's our thoughts here? You know, I think they're making a late storm. I think their horses, you know, at the back of the pack. But, you know, I feel like they're making a little bit of a late surge. I don't know if it's going to be enough time to actually turn the tide around. Also, you know, I love seeing the fact that, you know, the video is getting blacked out. You know what I mean? So the power's in seemingly seems to be in our hands as well. So, you know, they got an outside chance, a wild card. But, you know, I'm starting to see that Pepe's starting to like Iris a bit more as well. Whether he really likes her, I'm not going to say that. I think it's cozy. I think it's comfortable. I think it's convenient. I think those things as well. I think he can get on with her. I just don't think he actually necessarily really doesn't want to go all the way with her like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think he wants her like that. But you know, I like I like what they bring. They're not too chaotic. They're not too chaosy. They're not too mad. And you know, I don't feel like they're competing for the same space. So, what's your guys' thoughts on Iris and Pepe? How you feel about this particular matchup and couple?
I believe everyone that's saying that Nicolandria is fake, they should, or forced, they should also say that about Pepe and Iris because they're exactly the same way. Are they not randomly out of nowhere? Where did they even come from? They were in the villa at the same time, but they never intertwined. From nowhere, no conversation, no interaction, no challenge kisses until the significant others left. For me, that's a double standard if I ever saw one. Are you guys okay? She said, I don't even know where Pepe came from. I never thought that was a personality. And then you're knocking him underneath the sheets 24 seconds later. Are you guys okay? Nicolandria has been minding their business being sweets. I'm sorry to bring it back to them. I apologize. But they've been minding their business.
So, Chanel, are you Caribbean?
I'm not Caribbean, I'm Nigerian.
Oh, because every so often when you get really hype, I can hear your accent change.
My father's homeland is coming in. Because
right.
I cannot do it.
Because you're in America, right?
Yeah, I'm actually in Houston.
Yeah. Because I hear like this American accent, and every so often I hear like I guess a Nigerian accent. So just wanted to ask that.
No, thanks. I appreciate it. It's from the frustration. The double standard is eating me. It's really eating me because they're standing underneath the radar. They might actually make it through because I feel like all the white people, all the white girls, all the Valley girls are gonna vote for Iris and Pepe because Pepe was also popular in the faves voting, and so was Iris. She was up there too. She wasn't even like in the middle. She was towards like the upper portion. So people do like them individually, and then now together, I see them definitely getting a lot of votes. But
So
from no substantial foundation.
for me, I ship this relationship. I think Iris is such a cutie pie, nice, sweet soul, and I think their conversations are genuine, like how they talk about their family and their parents and their hobbies of playing music and stuff like that. I think this is the most genuine out of all the couples, in my opinion. I like that Pepe is not a part of the Mighty Mouse crew because of Ace and his henchmen. I like that. Um, yeah, I mean, and yeah, and I think Iris is a cutie pie, and she's sweet, and she's been cool the whole time. She's been in the villa, hasn't really stepped on anybody's toes. She's been, just a sweet girl that I think that most people can rock with. So this is my pick as far as who I want to win. But I do support Nicolandria.
I think if it comes down to the Islanders getting to choose which couple leaves next, Iris and Pepe will be the next to leave. And I say that because the ringleader that everybody is not paying attention to, Nick, every time he says something about a couple getting their ear or anything, like it goes bad. Um, as soon as he seen Pepe talk to her, he was like, "That's weird." Didn't her mate just leave? But when Hannah left, he was all on Landria. But and then you even got to revert back to when Huda and Jeremiah, everything was perfect until Nick inserted his opinion saying, "Hey, I don't think Huda really likes you." So as long as Pepe and Nick can Pepe and Iris can keep Nick out of their business, I think they will prosper. I do like them. Um, I don't really know. I think Iris is boring. I do. I don't know if she's boring or if she got enough camera time, if like what it is, but same thing I can say about Clarke. She didn't get much camera time either. So I really don't think we can say we like any of these couples, to be honest, to be fair.
My
Because we
my
ain't really
first yeah my I'm sorry. Please continue. Sorry, I
that's
didn't mean
all I
to.
want to say.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like my first would have been Clarke and Taylor. That would have been my first choice. But I think I don't think anybody is truly genuine in this in this season. But I think out of everybody that's left, I rock with Pepe and Iris over everybody else because I think that's a bit more genuine than everybody else. And I mean, you know what I mean? And the fact that yeah, I mean the fact that they just talk, kept it chill, you know what I mean? No real agenda between the two as opposed to the others. That's why they got my vote because I just think it's a bit more genuine. And I mean, I know he
They
left
just
Hannah.
met 24 hours ago.
Yeah, but I mean,
What's
but
so
the thing about it is,
genuine?
Sent Jeremiah
but
home. Justice for
this
Jeremiah. Pepe sent Jeremiah home. I hope you know that, right? He was part of
what
that voting crew.
he didn't vote for Jeremiah.
How do you know?
He
He
didn't.
was there. He was in
The,
the
the
villa
three,
when
the three,
Jeremiah went home.
the three who wanted Jeremiah gone. Well, the only person that really wanted Jeremiah gone because he had more aura than her and he had more riz than him was Ace. That's the person that really
That's
wanted him
your
gone.
perception. I'm not saying your perception
I
is
do not
wrong,
think the
but
ringleader
Pepe
is
was there.
Ace. Y'all have been nicked, okay? The ringleader is not Ace. It
The
is
ringleader is
Nick.
Ace.
I don't care. My point is that we're on Pepe, and Pepe is not exempt. Pepe was in that voting crew. Pepe's also the one that stood behind Taylor. So you have to know that Pepe is on Team Taylor, Team Ace, Team Nick. You
Pepe,
have to open your
no,
eyes. Pepe is not innocent because he's not talking, drama in front of the confessionals and cameras and stuff. That nigga is in there. I'm sorry, he's not a nigga, but that guy is in there. Okay. Open your eyes.
Let's not lose the plot. Let's just.
Yeah.
I honestly
What
think
about
Pepe ain't
and
got time for
Iris'
that. Pepe ain't. I honestly don't think he's with the mess and the drama. We ain't
Yeah,
seen him comment on
yeah.
anything
We
thus
didn't see
far.
him, but he was there. He was present, and he didn't speak out against it. You know how people don't agree with certain stuff? They might say something in the confessionals, and that lets us know, okay, where their mind is really at, or if they don't support this or that. He didn't say nothing. He's just there. He's chilling. He's enjoying his little white blonde girls. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that's what he's doing. He's enjoying himself. But that don't mean that he's not adding to it. And we saw him physically support Taylor. He could have gone for anybody else.
No, but I would stand behind Taylor also. Doesn't mean I'm rocking with Ace, but I would, out of all the people that were there, Taylor and Clarke had the Taylor and
Had a
Clarke
connection, yes.
Even though I don't like Taylor and Clarke has the best connection in the villa, including Ace and Shelly. Taylor and Clarke had the absolute best connection.
Not no more. They out the villa. And
I
what
was
the
sad because I wanted
lifting up
Adriana to
Ace?
stay. But if you think about it, if they would have kept Adriana, who would she have coupled with?
I don't know.
Nobody.
Elon or Zach? I don't know. Listen, this is beyond my scope. I'm just giving you guys the facts of what happened. Okay? He could have stood behind TJ, but I guess he wanted Iris. Listen, Pepe is not an innocent man. And I'm not trying to villainize him, but y'all are trying to do stuff he's not problematic. They came out of nowhere too. Don't do double standards, okay?
Who's y'all?
He's not problematic.
I'm saying y'all in general. I'm not speaking to anyone individually. Anyone that's defending them.
It's only Ace. I mean, Hot Sauce is the only one that's defending this Pepe Iris.
Oh, my bad.
He's on an island all by himself, separate from Fiji, because ain't nobody else. Standing for Iris and Pepe. Sorry.
I've been on the island all this time, so hey, I'm used to it.
LaClaire in the chats is hilarious. LaClaire, I see you. You're funny. Pepe was holding up Ace for his little dunk, and he still didn't do it. Pepe is a stand of Ace. Okay, I'm gonna make my case for Pepe being in the Ace group. Okay, so
you reaching like you reaching to China right now.
But what about Nick? Because Nick is right there. You going so hard on everybody but Nick. I'm not understanding. Nick is literally.
Tina, we love you. Please. Don't take us back to the Nicolandria of it all.
I really wanted to, because Nick is not a great guy. And I think after all of this, it's going to be a lot of stories. It's going to be a lot of probably even Me Too's, the way he be giggity all over the island. Like, wait. Honestly, did y'all see how he wiped his lips after he kissed Alandria the first time when they got saved? Like, that's not somebody who liked her.
Well,
I've been saying.
Told him, she said,
hold on, because
I got my lipstick all over you, and he said, leave it.
So
I think Nick gives Ted Bundy vibes.
Y'all will not do to this panel what the world did to the Love Island. We're not going. We are on Pepe and Iris. No Nick and Alandria.
I have been waiting a while, and I just wanted to say that I think he gives me Ted Bundy vibes. He is a psychotic narcissist, and when people catch on, it's going to be like, oh wow, we've been nicked. Yes, y'all have been nicked. It is not Ace.
You're done. You're done. Pepe and Iris.
Did we talk about Chris and Huda yet? Was that was already talked about already?
Yes, we got to them early on. Yes, we did. It's Pepe and Iris, and we going home. I don't know where Kojo is, but
I'm back here, baby.
This is the last couple.
He's on a break.
It's the last run.
All roads leading back to Nick.
I think Iris was his safe choice. Iris was Pepe's safest choice. If he did not hook up with Iris, who would he have coupled up with? Honestly, not Shelly, not Huda, not Alandria. He would have been out of there. So he coupled up with Iris to be safe.
For me, they're both boring. I mean, they could possibly have a future, but I don't care either. Like I'm like Coach, I don't care for them, but I mean, they need to leave, but I don't see them going anywhere. I really feel all the white people are going to vote for them. All the white girls, especially those that are racist, because we know they watch the show.
And I'm
It's all going
going
to go
for
to them.
him too. This one black guy's gonna vote for him too.
Oh, yes, and hot sauce. Yes. But yeah, Pepe's not. He was lifting up Ace, so he's for Ace. Like he's lifting up his leader to make a dunk. I'm never gonna like not see that again in my head. But I'm not for it. It is what it is. It's cute, but let the Final Four be. Actually, they can be the part of the Final Four if Huda and Chris leave. I don't mind them actually being there.
Chris needs to tell Huda I'm going for some milk and not come back. That man was ready to go the first eviction night. He looked at her and was like, "Oh God, please let me be at the bottom. Please let me be at the bottom."
He was defeated. I totally stand that though. I stand that move. Yeah, Huda, your daughter needs some milk. I need to go and get some milk and never show up again.
I would have hit her with that move. I'm like, you know what? After the vote, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get some milk right now. I know we're in Fiji, so I'll be back, and I would just pack my stuff and bounce.
This was great. I'm gonna bounce off, but I appreciate you guys. You guys were awesome.
Thank you, Shade.
No, well done, guys. Well done, guys. We appreciate you. I'm gonna let Sean close out. He gives us a little benediction before we end out. Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what I got to give, and this time I'm being dead serious. I don't even know what I got to give. I don't know if today drained me is sufficient because, woo, I will say this. I think we have shown one thing, that if we are passionate about something, we can believe it, and I just, ask all of us, please make sure that your passions, your assertions are based in reality, and we want to have a healthy mix of emotion and facts, right? It has to be healthy. It can't be all facts, no emotion. It can't be all emotion and no facts. We want to be balanced. So I would say, let's look for balance in our relationships. Let's look for balance as we are assessing situations. And please don't look to exact revenge on folks. Don't look to take out arbitrary things that might not necessarily have to do with somebody that someone might trigger you by, and now you want to go after them. Not us in the panel and on the chat, but sometimes people on the internet do too much. So yes, people should be accountable. Yes, mistakes have consequences, but we don't need to be the avenger in real life to people. We don't need to be nasty, harmful, and mean to folks, especially those that we don't know and that we may be watching across our screens. Back to you, Coach.
Thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate you very much as well. Listen, audience, it's been an amazing conversation. Thank you for those who joined us today. A wonderful expulsion of conversation. I know Nicolandria is usually the top hitters, and I get it. I'm with it as well. Me too. I can talk about them all day. Shout out to Michelle, who said, "Keep cooking, baby. Team Nicolandria." We also had AO Ann said, "Ace and Shelley for the win. Producers have been sabotaging them. It's obvious Amaya and Lion Brian are being promoted to win." Jeremiah also shipped Shelley and Ace as well. And then we had, obviously, from the query, says Nicolandria, #Nicolandria, Delulu until it's true. And shout out to Rosho, who sent a super sticker of $10 as well. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for your kind gestures as well. We appreciate it. And for everybody who is here, listen, you gotta leave here with something.